Sorry if you guys end up having to look at my navel while I do the show. This is
Is that a piercing?
no, I would never. Oh, the thought of that, Tom. The thought of it. Yikes. No nose, no tongue, no belly button, none of that nonsense. No nipples. No, sir. Ears. That's it. That's it. Ears.
Ears?
Nah. I had 3 in my left from the time I was 15, I think. I haven't worn them in years and years and years, but yeah.
What was the significance of the 3?
None. Everybody had 1 in the 80s. So I was like, well, I can't be like everybody else, so I'll get 2. And then when I got 2, I was like, well, screw it, I'll get 3. Thought about 4. It's so funny what, I remember wearing my earring the first time that I got my ear pierced, and my stepdad was, he saw the trend all around kids had earrings, and he was livid, as every generation is bad about something. And he was like, this is ridiculous. You shouldn't wear an earring. Well, that's precisely why I went and got my ear pierced, was because he told me that he wouldn't allow for it. And then I got it done again to piss him off again. And then he kept getting angry, and I got a third one. We could have just kept going for days, but eventually he stopped yelling. So there was nothing you could do. I had my own car. I'll drive to the damn Tyrone Square Mall and get it done, buddy.
So you didn't do it for your own enjoyment. You did it.
I did it despite him.
Despite him.
But also it was a fashionable thing to do at the time. So, and then I wore like a big hoop. Well, I also had long hair. I did all the rebellious things, that was the whole thing. Now I have no hair and I don't wear earrings. And the thought of it just seems odd to me, but that's what it is. Hey, welcome in. We're doing a show. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. If you're driving about town, listening on 93.3 FM, Real Talk Radio, I appreciate you doing that, because that means you're supporting Tallahassee's only locally owned and operated radio station. And it's good to support local. I appreciate you doing it. I appreciate you guys supporting Warchant.com, Warchant TV, all the things. Hello, everybody in the chat. How you doing? I haven't even looked. Are we good? Yeah, we're on. We're good. We're good. I'm glad to see the ACC sent out their release. I love ACC releases. They're good. They're good fodder.
Get ready for another 10 years of them.
Whew. Can you imagine if we were stuck here for another 10 years?
I'll be working somewhere else.
Yeah, I can't. It's hard to fathom being stuck here another 3 or 2. It is.
If there was a release that said, we love the money we've got, we're going to stay here through the end of the contract. I'm like, all right, well, Indeed.com, here we go. The job would be here. I think I'm done, man. I would just wash my hands. No, thank you.
That's a wrap.
I can't do this anymore, Jim Phillips. Well, the CW is in 100 million households.
Oh, buddy. I wonder why. And we'll get to more Florida State-specific things here in a second. I don't know why somebody at the ACC office there doesn't say to Jim when they're putting together the release, Jim, I don't think we need to tout the fact that we play a bunch of Friday night games. It kind of makes us look small. Real conferences don't do that. But we are out here littered with some Friday night action.
Except now that market that we had cornered, quote unquote, I use air quotes, bigly, the Big Ten is now in the Friday night market because they want to get their coast-to-coast games out of the way on a Friday.
It's a bad look.
So not only did we move to Friday, we're going to get that taken from us too.
Well,
the rest of the month.
Don't play them. Don't go there again. It didn't do you any good. It didn't do you any good. It doesn't grow the conference. It doesn't make more money. None of it. Don't do it. Stop playing on Fridays.
Well, viewership was up 68% year over year for the ACC.
Stop. But yeah, in that release, the ACC will again be a leader in Friday night college football during the 26th season. Again, be a leader on Friday nights. Over the first 6 weeks, ACC teams will appear in 8 Friday games, including 3 Friday contests in week 2. You don't have to wait for your Friday fun, Tom. We got you started week 2 with the Friday games. The conference race will take center stage in October and November. 1 Friday night game scheduled in each of weeks 8, 9, and 10. Soon, additional selections will be announced, Tom. We got more coming. We can't wait to be out there on Fridays. Last season, Friday night matchups included Florida State and Pitt and Virginia Tech at Miami. Yeah. So anyhow, that's what you got.
Yeah. Here's the problem: is the Big Ten decided, you know what, we want that too, and they're going to be on Fox. They're going to be on cable.
They're not going to be on the CW
over the air television, not the CW. No, they're going to have. Let's see. The first one of the year is a nothing game, but that's always the case. Fresno State, USC. But as the season goes on, Northwestern, Indiana, Penn State, Northwestern, Iowa, Washington.
Iowa,
Purdue.
Washington's a good game.
Yep. Nebraska, Illinois. Oregon at Michigan State in late November. I mean, they've decided that they're going to throw their hat in the ring here.
I hope they wrestle away the reputation of the Friday night greatness from the ACC. I hope Jim has to have next year's press release in which he says, it's most unfortunate, but we are no longer playing on Friday nights. Yes, Jim. And what you find unfortunate, we find liberating. Thank you.
Well, Friday night viewing has decreased by 42%, and the Big Ten has increased by 674%. So we're going to give Wednesday nights a whirl. Wednesday night ACC. I'm calling it ACCW.
Anyhow, so, there's all of that. They always point out how tough the non-conference schedule is. It's the toughest non-conference once again in 2026. The problem with touting all the games you play against the SEC or the Big Ten or Notre Dame is that you lose all those games. You lose them. So it doesn't do you any good to tell everybody, oh, we play the hell out of some ranked teams out of the Big Ten and the SEC. Yeah, and you get your ass steady bent over. What's the...
Well, it's not like touting the SEC is as strong as it would have been last year anyway. That's not even as big of a deal. Now, if you play more Big Ten games.
Highlight those Big Ten games, though, Tommy.
Yeah, right. The Big Ten.
Highlight those Big Ten games.
That's the one you tout.
Yeah.
Maybe even it's Big 12, but the SEC, a little shaky.
I'm ready for Florida State baseball tomorrow against Miami. I'm geared up, ready to go. I'm excited about that series.
Unfortunately, it sounds like John Abraham will not be, and neither will Chase Williams.
Didn't think either would be. It doesn't disappoint me because I assumed as much.
You were correct to assume that. Yeah. It's Link doesn't know, but the tenor and the tone. We don't even need to coach Cameron translates for that one. It's I hope it's not long term was the terminology for John Abraham today.
Look, at the end of the day, you can't think of a more, beyond something being very severe like an ACL, or in the case of a pitcher, he needs Tommy John or something like that. Outside of those kinds of injuries that are just, well, that's the end of the career, that's the end of the season, or whatever it might be, you can't have abdominal issues, man. As a bat-to-ball sport or a pitching sport, think about all the twists and the turns, the whole things. It's not like a straight-on movement. You can't – it's bad for any sport, frankly, but it's really bad, I would imagine, for a pitcher or a hitter for that matter. And so I assumed when he went out with an abdominal injury, an oblique injury, that he was going to miss significant time. The key to me isn't that he misses this series. It could hurt us. We could lose a game because of his absence. He's been that vitally important to Florida State's efforts on the mound. He is your best reliever. It's really not close.
One of the best in the country.
Yes, he's been fantastic. And any of these games in these big series where if Mendez goes 6 or he goes 5 or what, you've got a guy that can come in and keep him dormant, keep him down off the scoreboard, and continue to work either to come back or to maintain or grow your lead. You've had that guy. He has been rock solid. Ever since Tough Love Cameron got on him early in the season, he turned the corner. He's like, I can't go through another year of Tough Love Cameron. I can't do it. He's been bastardizing my name for some time now. I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to show him, and he has. He's proven me wrong. I've had to shut up about Mr. Abraham. He's been great. I've been proud of him. That's how Tough Love Cameron works. If you get me to shut up because you play exceedingly well after I criticize you or point out your mediocrity, I will go on the air afterwards and admit I got it all wrong. You're a player now. You're a guy. And I'll celebrate that fact. I'll celebrate being wrong about that. And I've been able to do that because Abraham's been awesome. So it's a devastating loss. But the whole thing, I thought, all right, whatever. The Miami series is important. It is important, but you can live with it. Do you have them for regional play? Do you have them when you're efforting to get to Omaha? Do you have them when the games are the most important? Not the ACC tournament. Don't care about the ACC tournament. Don't care about it. In any format, I don't care about okay. I care enough to want them to win.
We have extended our partnership with Bojangles for this year's ACC baseball tournament.
But, I mean, it's like anything else. The tears in the depth of your concerns and care. I'll come on or I'll watch a game at the house, let's say, and we know immediately when you sit down, you're like, this feels important, this feels big, or it doesn't. The ACC tournament never feels that big. Never feels that big. The regular season does. A lot of games. The ebbs and flows of a season are very important. That is the resume builder, not some truncated tournament. So I, won't care about that. You just got to hope that he's back when you're playing in the regional right here in Tallahassee, Florida. And wouldn't it be great if you sustained enough of good play the way that they have down the stretch here that you could somehow secure that top 8 national seed? Doesn't seem likely. We talked about it yesterday, but they could.
Well, they could. I mean, they've shown a lot of fight all year long throughout myriad injuries. Not, obviously the only major one to Miles Bailey, but you've had injuries to your pitching staff. You've had injuries to key players in the outfield the entire season. I don't think they've had a continuous 1 through 4 in the outfield for the whole year. And so they're still fighting through that. You're seeing anchors in the middle of the lineup emerge. This is all the things that we wanted to see tomorrow night. And Link did a good job. He said it, that they were monitoring the pitch counts at Clemson because they knew it was going to be a short week coming back, and they did a good job getting the guys out of the game so that Mendez is ready to go tomorrow and Beard and Moore behind them. The whole thing is that hopefully you have a clear line of succession for the use of the bullpen. Last week in game 1, it got blown up because you had to, at the very minimum, get guys warm that you weren't ever going to have to get up on a Friday night because John Abraham would have closed out that game. You had 1 out to get.
Yeah,
but instead Purcell had to warm, Manka had to warm, and now you're going to slot it. I wonder who the first guy out will be tomorrow. Would it be Cooper Whited because you didn't have a midweek game? Would it be Manka? I mean, you got some good choices there.
I like Whited a lot. He throws strikes.
Kinnear's been outstanding of late.
He has been.
Purcell bounced back, and he showed out pretty well over the weekend too. The second appearance, that is.
Our own Ira Schafel is over there at Amelia Island and had a chance to obviously document what Jim Phillips had to say regarding the ACC and what the ACC is proposing. They went along with the Big Ten here. They want the 24-game playoff. I don't.
What are they coattail grabbing on for?
They're Well, you got to cozy on up to the big dog, which is clearly the Big Ten. But nonetheless, that he's got more than just that. He also talked to Mike Norvell, and specifically, Mike Norvell talked about the decision to announce Ashton Daniels as the starting quarterback for 2026. And of course, we questioned the timing of all that. Like, why not just do it right when spring was over? It seemed somewhat dubious that you waited, and that gave the appearance that perhaps he didn't win the job overwhelmingly so.
Yeah, like there was a battle to come. That's what it appeared like. Wow, okay, they're going to let this thing play out. Good for them. And then, never mind.
A few days later, they went on to announce that he was the starting quarterback. And so I didn't quite understand the timing. But Mike Norvell says it was not a lack of conviction. The delay to name Ashton Daniels the starter was not because of a lack of conviction regarding the decision. Well, he would have to say that regardless. It may very well be true. He may be convicted all the way through his very being about Ashton Daniels being the starter. One would think if that were the case, he would have announced it right at the end of spring.
Hon, do you know what you want for breakfast? I don't know much, hon, but I do know this. Ashton Daniels is our starting quarterback.
He's at a red light yelling out to the passersby.
Daniels!
Ashton Daniels is our starting quarterback. You understand me? But whenever the clarity hit him.
Say you understand.
Now! But he says, look, he played very well. He was better than expected, quote unquote, in all areas. Now, I would say to that, I don't believe you. I don't think that's true. I don't think that he was better than you expected in all areas. I don't think you're telling the truth. Now, it doesn't matter because I can't prove that. I didn't see a single practice. I have no idea. He may have been Joe Montana out there for all I know. Or he may have been Tom Brady for a more modern reference. I don't know. It didn't seem like it based on the daily reports that we were getting post-practice from him that was the case. It really is insignificant. It's not something to beat the drum over and to get angry about. Either he or Sperry were going to start, and I don't think either moved the needle for this fan base. They are all thinking and hoping, like me, that we'll see. Hopefully he plays well, because in his career up to this point, having started 23 games and played in 14 others, he hasn't been any good at all.
There are more P1s than I thought in this fan base that have internal countdown clocks running right now, and they're willing to say it. Usually the P1s, meaning the primaries, the diehards, are more likely to be positive than negative, because if you're still around right now, then you're a glutton for tough times and you've got hope in the face of darkness. But most, as I'm seeing in recruiting, there's anonymity with Florida State right now in recruiting. There's not much going on. And there's kids saying yes to Miami and Florida every other day.
Oh, man, it's every day,
buddy.
Those
people are saying, well, just get me to November when there's going to be a change. I'm going, wow. Okay. Even the diehards are starting to say that more and more, because I don't try to look at social media, the boards, and say it's representative of the entire fan base. Perhaps there is a silent majority that's in Mike Norvell's corner, as the athletic director has insinuated through the tweets he was liking in the offseason. Maybe the majority of fans are with Mike Norvell through and through.
I don't think that's true either.
I don't know. All I'm saying is
I think you
all
do.
I'm saying is that more and more diehards by the day, with different storylines, be it national, local, recruiting, the powers of college football, like even the playoff article. You read a playoff article, well, Mike Norvell in November. We'll see what happens then. Wow. People have, it's not just the countdown, 103 days to the football season or whatever it is. It's like, well, by the time we get to Halloween against Clemson, I think we might have some news on our hands.
It's a desperate group right now. It's a desperate, angry, frustrated fan base, and they're willing to lash out and they're willing to talk. I know, because as the bearer of sometimes bad news, I am frequently the subject of their ire. It happens all the time. Somebody will tell me, oh, you pissed off the people on the boards again today. I don't go to the boards very often. Every now and again, sometimes I do, because somebody will tip me off to something that I need to see.
Well, we've had a good run of unofficial poll questions the last couple of weeks when you were.
We have?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Remember, we had it was like 3 days in a row.
Yeah, but we haven't had any since, have we? I haven't gone to check.
Oh, we'll see. You said you were going to be looking for the poll.
I lied. I did not go to the message boards. I did not. No, I'm not. I did not go inspect the boards for the polls. I didn't do it. But we could basically ease into a summer mailbag type thing, which I wouldn't have a problem doing. It's wonderful fodder. Sometimes people ask really good questions, or they make observations that are funny, and we can take them and run with them. That's fine. I'll do it. I'd be willing to do it. But I learned a long time ago that when you give an opinion for a living, obviously not everybody's going to agree with your opinion. Some people are going to not only disagree with your opinion, they're going to vehemently disagree with your opinion, or they're going to question the veracity, or they're going to question the motivation, or they're going to, whatever it might be. And you'll get called a bunch of names and everything else. And you can't do this job and have that bother you or be a thing that you respond to on a regular basis. So I stopped a long time ago, but I do know, because all of my dear friends out there who do have my number will be like, whew, people are pissed at you today. Or it could be, and I'm not saying specifically to today, but it happens on a regular basis. Or every once in a great while, you'll say, yeah, you made people angry yesterday. Like, you'll tell me, like, we had to shut down a thread. And I'm like, what? Because here's what I always think about that. So you can disagree with me, that's fine, or you can be angry about it, but it's specific to, like, when we're talking about Florida State. It's pretty inarguable right now, the status of the program.
Yet people want to argue about the status of the program.
But it's inarguable. It's foolhardy to argue about what Florida State is currently.
It's disingenuous more than anything.
100%.
Yeah.
It's completely disingenuous. And it I don't know if somebody's just walking around living in denial when they get mad about a discussion regarding sub 500 records at Florida State University. Good God almighty. The standard, no matter if you can define it clearly or not, is certainly not that of a losing program. So when we are a losing program back-to-back years, and when we don't win a road game over the course of 2 full seasons, it really is an inarguable point to make regarding Florida State football and the state they find themselves in currently, which is that of a loser. And it's not cool. And
but are you helping the program or hurting the program by your commentary? I think you're hurting the program.
So do you think, imagine that. Imagine the idea of that. Like the rest of the country isn't noting that Florida State sucks at football. It's not like there would be a shortage of places to go to hear that opinion if I withheld mine out of respect for and love of the program.
See, but because there's so much chatter, you could be the difference maker.
Oh, I'm going to tell you that they're playing well, that he's recruiting his ass off, and that we're about to be winners again, because it's just not true. But I do think having these discussions serves as not only fodder for the show, but it's also, I think, therapeutic in a lot of ways. We're able, and I like hearing back from people, even if they disagree with me. I like hearing other opinions most of the time. And especially if they seem to be well thought out or they present a side I hadn't thought of. I like having something illuminated in
like
that
how
way.
You were convinced by, Savannah Banana Baseball. You came around on that.
I did not. In fact, I became more entrenched. But I like to see these things and read these things, and sometimes there are observations that you think, that puts this in a different light. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe there is more of this and less of that regarding to how we arrived at this place, and that's fine. I don't mind that. I'm downright tickled when somebody is so angry that they take the time to send an 11:52 p.m. email on a Tuesday.
It's admirable in its own way.
I'm like,
seriously,
that guy had a few pops at the house and decided, F Jeff Cameron, I'm going to email his ass right now. And then sent me a novel about all the things that I say on the air that he despises and yet listens to every single day. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Yard back. We have an affordable program to help keep mosquitoes away, and our program even helps with other pests like ticks.
Mosquitoes are a nuisance to you, and by carrying diseases such as heartworms, they can be harmful to your pets.
Learn more about how Paws can help protect you, your family, and your pets from mosquitoes. For the elimination of termites, pests like mosquitoes,
and a greener lawn too.
Call Paws. We'll get them all.
Do you want to take your yard back by having a green and pest-free lawn?
At Paws, we understand the unique needs of your North Florida lawn, which is why we developed a program to address those concerns.
Our treatment program includes inspection, treatment, and education on best practices for optimized results while remaining environmentally conscious. An added benefit is that our lawn treatment is flea suppression, so having a greener lawn can help protect your pets too. For a greener lawn and the elimination of fleas too,
call Paws. We'll get them all.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Water is your home's worst enemy. It finds cracks, soft spots, and weaknesses. But not on our watch. At Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing, we're veteran-owned and built different, driven by detail and the pursuit of excellence. We install seamless gutters, underground drainage, and waterproofing systems that don't fail. Because when you live with discipline, water doesn't stand a chance. Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing. Visit guttersolutions.net. With us, it's personal.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas and put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
in Tallahassee. When it comes to pool repairs and renovations, nobody does it better than Swain, and they've been doing it for over 46 years. Turn your worn, outdated, or neglected pool into something you're proud of again. Whether your pool needs resurfacing, tile repairs or replacement, equipment upgrades, or even a full makeover, nobody does it better than Swain Pools and Spas. Trusted for quality, reliability, and service, visit Swain Pools today under the huge sign on Tharp Street or at swainpools.com.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
Real Talk 93.3 and the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce would like to welcome its newest members. Businesses making a difference here at home. Line X of Tallahassee, Midtown Men's Health and Med Spa, Midtown Reader, News Service of Florida, Nexus Real Estate Group, Pasta for Everyone LLC, Pro Playgrounds, Pure Green Cascades, Southeastern Industrial Construction, Spring Hill Suites Tallahassee Central, and Stay RVing Mobile Service LLC. Thank you for growing local with the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
So what do we think about Black Friday, 3:30 p.m. against the University of Florida? That's the game. That's the time. That's the day. That's when it's happening.
Well, I think, first of all, that the number one dish that I have on Thanksgiving, usually in Palm Harbor, is not the turkey, but they also make a ham as well. And unless that ham is coming up to Tallahassee, I'm not eating it this year for Thanksgiving. That's what I think. Black Friday, 3:30, huh? Couldn't have been a 7 p.m. kick like we had a few years back with Jordan Travis?
No, 3:30, buddy. That's when it has to be.
Right in the testes.
You know, I got to tell you, I can't stand ham. So,
really?
Yeah, I can't stand it.
Oh, buddy.
Well,
log cabin maple syrup instead of honey.
I mean, I say that I'm overstating my dislike of ham. I don't like it. It's like the last of the meats for me.
Oh, you see, turkey can go get kicked down the road.
I love me some turkey. Not as much as I like roast beef, but I like, I like almost all the meats. Let's put it that way. Besides ham. I've never even, I think after the first ham sandwich I had many, many moons ago, I decided we're not doing that anymore. There are so many better meats.
Turkey to me is just terribly bland.
It can be. You got to do things to spruce up the turkey. Yeah.
And they do a good job. I mean, it's a wonderfully prepared turkey, and I'll have a slice or two, but then it stops there. And I will take out a quarter of that ham. Like we're going to war on the ham. So I'm hoping that maybe the family matriculates up this way. They might actually try to do that, and so that way we can do a little Thanksgiving ham the day before the game, because I'm sure we'll have pregame festivities and so forth on Black Friday that begin around brunch time, mimosa Bloody Mary time.
On the subject of Florida State and the discussion we just had, it's like an artist who writes and sings melancholy songs. You'll sometimes hear those people interviewed, and the assumption from the interviewer is that they're depressed because in their canon of work, they have no shortage of, minor key led songs that are very, very weighty in terms of the existential crisis, right? Relationships or death or whatever it might be. And then the person being interviewed will go, oh, no, I'm very hopeful. These songs are therapeutic in a lot of ways. People can relate to them, lets them know they're not alone in the world, that they too I feel what you feel, and we've gone through these various emotions and dramas in our life. And but day to day, no, I'm fine. I can relate, so I write what I know. and I'm not depressed. Florida State football is that for me. People think that I believe that Florida State is going to be in this downward cycle forevermore, and I do not believe that at all. If I did believe that, I probably wouldn't be doing this any longer. There's no need to be the daily voice of documentation regarding mountains of suck.
The chief eulogist.
Yeah, I don't need to do that every day. I don't think Florida State is going to be a permanent second-class citizen in the world of college football. I don't believe that Florida State is without hope. I don't believe that Florida State can't get this turned around, and in a hurry, I might add. I think they can. I think that the way that this is currently set up, and I'm not even talking about the larger structure of college football, which is problematic for Florida State and many others, they are in real trouble for the time being. I think that by delaying the decision we all know to be inevitable, they are falling further behind in the world of recruiting because people aren't going to commit to a program that is on the cusp of making major changes, starting with the head coach. And so when you watch these recruiting battles play out, or you hear the names of the better players around the country or at these camps, and they list the teams that they are going to visit or that they're interested in, and you hear Florida State's name, that doesn't move the needle for me because I know that that's just posturing. They're not coming here. They're not going to go to Florida State if they have the option to go to other schools that are more successful and willing to pay more money. Now, I would also like to clarify that recruiting isn't solely about the money. It isn't. It is still vitally important that you establish relationships. You have to be, yes, in the arena. You do have to have the capability of getting to a number that would be close, if not equal to, those you're competing against for the services of the player. You need to be in the ballpark. You don't have to be the one that is the highest bidder every time. But so long as all things are equal, let's say in a given player that you feel strongly about and you're willing to commit a large percentage of your rev share money to, okay, let's say that player is a quarterback and he's a 5-star quarterback and you think he's an elite player that instantly changes your fortune and you are willing to pay that young man, this is theoretical, you're willing to pay that young man $2, $3, $4 million, the same as, say, Texas is willing to pay him, or Florida, or Miami, or Georgia, or Ohio State. What's going to win the day are the relationships. What's going to win the day is the guy that ends up, again, assuming you're willing to come to the number, the guy that has a very good working relationship through the course of recruiting the player with him and his family. That's what's going to win the day. You still have to be able to do that. And in fact, if you do that on a regular basis, we've seen countless examples, even amongst the creme de la creme of college football. See a certain wide receiver at Ohio State and many others actually take a tick below what the market would have seen them get. There are kids that are considered to be, first-round draft picks that took less money to go to a certain school than they were offered by other schools. So it's not just about the money. And Florida State isn't flat broke. I hear that all the time. Florida State's broke. They're not broke. Florida State, bare minimum, has the rev share. So does everybody else that's committed to it. But that puts you in the ballpark of top 25, top 35 payrolls in all of college football. You, by definition, you're right there. You have a chance. However many teams there are, let's put it that way. You can
go to the power. Just call it
the
60
power.
plus.
Okay,
teams.
yeah, let's say that. It puts you in that conversation. You certainly, you're not spending as much as SMU is currently. You're not spending as much as Clemson is currently, apparently, and you're certainly not spending as much as Miami is. Nobody likes to hear that. You are at a disadvantage when you're being outspent by teams in your conference. Are you outspent by everybody in your conference? No, not even close. Not even close. In fact, you're outspending more of the teams in the ACC than not. So you're not dead broke, and you certainly should not be commiserate currently with your record if we're just looking at money with last place in the ACC. which is over a 2-year aggregate. That's what Florida State is. So, no, there are more problems than just not having the money. There are more problems beyond those recruiting disadvantages that are born of not having enough money. You've got a guy who doesn't do a good job of recruiting and a staff that he's never made do it, every iteration of it, to the extent that they should have been held accountable. And now you're buried. And so trying to flip that and change the narrative or change the way that kids view you and agents view you, you're behind the 8 ball. And more importantly, to change the way that the big money boosters who write the checks for anything above and beyond the rev share money, those people aren't convinced that this guy can get the job done. And because they're not writing checks. They're saving it for the next guy. Now, how do you get out from under this very difficult predicament that he finds himself in? Just by winning a bunch of games. That's all. He's got to win 10 or 11 games. And renewed confidence will carry the day in that moment. Do we think he's going to do that? I do not. So I think, and I state it quite frequently, that he's a dead man walking.
That's the thing about, there's an opposite of the suck tax, which is there are rebates, coupons, discounts based on myriad factors. And the largest rebates and discounts are pro-factory, proof of development, proof of getting guys drafted, getting guys paid. Relationships, huge discount too. If you have charisma in the room, if you're trustworthy, you come across that way in the room, then you get a discount. Winning on the football field, independent of position, gets you a discount. And then if you don't have those things, you're paying a tax. And it is so volatile, this whole process right now.
Yeah, it is.
And all we're doing is tax.
You're overpaying for roster retention.
Right. So it became more expensive to do maintenance.
Yeah, that's
than to grow.
To me, that's the bigger problem. Because you have enough funding that you could win a head-to-head battle for a 5-star kid. But you're not going to get the 5-star kid's attention. You're not. Let's you're spending a good bit of your money on the retention of the good players, quote unquote, you have on your roster.
Let's say the suck tax is 15%. Let's put something to it. And you're spending $20 million on the group. So out of that $20 million, you're actually only really spending $17 million because you got a $3 million tax on the 20 to keep what you got.
Yeah, to
acquire something that other schools can do for equal amount of money.
To keep a Chroma, to keep the Desires, right. To keep obviously Robinson. Yeah.
And maybe it's 10%, but still it's $2 million. The suck tax is expensive.
Problematic.
It's problematic. Yes. Now, if you had a track record of sending guys to the pros and going to the playoff and winning conference titles, winning 10 games a year, now you're rebating. And that $20 million actually might be as strong as $22 or $23 or $24 million because you have all these discounts. But we are just taxed to the hilt.
Yeah, it's a toughie. To my original point when we started the segment, none of this adds up to me being so forlorn as to think that Florida State cannot overcome this and be good again in the very near future. Florida State will be good again in the very near future. I believe that. Now, a lot of things have to happen. And it can seem, we love to use the analogy all the time because I think it's fitting, of losing weight. If you're morbidly obese and you got to start on that journey to losing a lot of weight. I've had friends who've had to do this, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming to them if you're 150 pounds overweight. And just the thought of trying to work out, to eat right, to do all the things, the steps that it's going to take can seem like a massive undertaking. But taking the first step is all you can do. And I think for Florida State, despite the many things, the litany of things that we would change right now about how this football program is run, it will all begin with the first step, which will be to extricate themselves from Mike Norvell. Now, obviously, what sucks about this isn't that you're in limbo. I don't think we are. I think we know exactly what has to happen. I don't think it's a mystery what has to happen. The problem is we have to wait for the trigger to be pulled, and sitting around waiting feels interminable. And it is very difficult to stomach an upcoming season that you find to be fruitless. You think it's going to achieve nothing, if not maybe, I guess, to be the final nail in the coffin, which is not something people eagerly look forward to.
No.
Nobody likes to have to start over.
No, even if they're rooting for it in the comments sections, so to speak, when they get up on a game day, they don't go, all right, let's see if we
another
can
day closer to fire this. No, nobody
like,
does that. And I have said this before, too. What sucks about it is, I mean, if we're just talking big picture, I like Mike. No, you don't. I'm not saying that I do or don't. I don't want to get put into that camp. But I have the recoiling that you had for decades when it came to other programs when they're talking about graduation rates and likability. No. Listen, my like of Mike does not cloud my vision about what should happen. I think he should be fired. I have said so for 2 years. 2-10 should have been a wrap. We're done here. You can't go 2-10 at Florida State. You cannot. You cannot go 2-10. If you do, you get fired. End of story. Get the hell up out of here. 2-10 is in you. You're capable. Go. You got to go. I would have already done that. They did not. They ran it back. Went 5-7, ran it back again. Woo, that's a toughie. That doesn't seem like a good idea because you end up in the very position they're in right now. What are you laughing about?
Just thinking about that's how in yesteryear, the seafarers that voyaged the world, that's how a mutiny happens. Like, we stay the course. Sir, we were with you the first time.
Yeah.
Captain, we lost 25 men the first time that we doubled down on you. We now only have 8 people left. There aren't enough things. I mean, there are too many jobs to do on
You're
this
going to get
ship.
thrown overboard, sir.
You're done. Captain, I'm sorry.
Yes, we're done here.
You're done, man.
But when I say I like Mike, I want people to understand without a shadow of a doubt, this is not personal in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing that he's done that I go, oh, well, that's it. I'm washing my hands of you as a human being. You know, you're not trustworthy because of a personality failure or flaw that is fatal. You know, it's not like that. I think Mike is trying. I think Mike failed. I think some things got away from him. And sometimes it all adds up to being a number that you can't overcome.
Well, and if you want a target to remain hopeful in the face of dire circumstances, just look at the 3 games, SMU, or 5 games, SMU, Alabama, Louisville, Miami, Clemson. You got to win 3 of those at minimum. In order to flip this thing, you have to win 3 out of those 5.
And by the way, I think we believe Florida State can beat SMU. I think we believe Florida State can beat Clemson. I don't think this is going to be a banner year for Clemson either. And then Louisville, you can beat Louisville.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't pick you to do that now, and you'll be an underdog in all 3 of those games. You could win them.
You're probably an underdog in all 5 of those games.
What? Alabama, SMU, Louisville, Clemson, and who?
Miami.
Oh well, yeah, hell yeah, you're an underdog to Miami.
But if you go win 3 of those out of the 5, then you're coming down the stretch in November with a chance to save yourself if you're him.
Yeah, and by the way, I haven't reached the place. Well, maybe I have. You'll hear some people say, I don't want him to win enough games as to not warrant being fired because I don't think we can get to where we need to go with him ever again. There are people, there is a segment of the fan base that say, look, man, I don't need you out here going 8-4 because they won't fire you if you go 8-4. And we know 8-4 is not acceptable either. That's not a record. I mean, that only sounds glorious right now because we have losing records in each of the last 2 seasons.
And it does sound glorious.
8-4 sounds like an accomplished program, but it's not to the Florida State apex of their ability. Like we're not close to touching what we're capable of if you're going 8-4. Maybe specifically to this team, they are with this schedule. But there are people who will say, I don't want him to go 8-4. If he goes 8-4, we're going to keep him, and he's not the guy.
And you lose 5 more offensive linemen. Deuce is gone.
Start
the
all over
quarterback's
again.
gone.
Yeah.
The Desir's bolt. You're like, okay.
But I will tell you, while I may not be in that camp, or even if I were to be in that camp, I will say that I choose to root for the other option, which is whatever record appreciably changes the view of agents and players about going to Florida State. Whatever that record is.
10-2.
Is the record that I would root for and hope to see this year. My opinion about whether that's going to happen irrelevant for the moment. I would like to see whatever that record is, the one that appreciably changes their recruiting fortunes.
I think it's either 10-2 or 9-3, but those losses are out of conference, so you're playing in Charlotte for the ACC title. I think it has to be that strong.
So you would
of a
lose
statement.
to Alabama and Florida, and who else?
You could lose one ACC game,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but that could still put you in Charlotte. You know,
Yeah.
If you're 7-1, or I think we're playing 8 this year, so if you're 7-1 in conference, and you beat the right team that you have a tiebreaker with, and you're head-to-head, you could go to Charlotte at 9-3 overall. But it has to be that strong, this statement.
I have brutalized this hour. There have been but one break because I love to talk that much. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
You by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Tallahassee weather report.
While this morning was more comfortable, the mugginess will be back through the afternoon. Temperatures this midday are in the low to mid 70s, climbing to the low to mid 80s by the late afternoon. A light shower is possible, but pretty unlikely at this time. Skies will clear heading into this evening. From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold.
Hi, this is Gary Parsons with Cafe de Martin, and I just want to talk to you a little bit about the magic of Cafe de Martin on Sunday night. If you're looking for an elevated dining experience with jazz music, look no further than Cafe de Martin. Open Tuesday through Sunday with live music on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Check out our full menu online at cafedemartin.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for other special events.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, I never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
But they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
The old 2-minute segment here, not even a full 2 minutes. So maybe I'll litter these throughout the show. Should I do that? Paul Skeens became the first Pirates pitcher since the mound was moved to its current distance in 1893, 133 years ago, to throw 40 strikeouts without a walk, per ESPN Insights. The last time Skeens walked a batter was on April the 13th during an outing against the Nationals. He's since made 5 starts without walking a single batter. In 4 of those 5 starts, he did not give up a run. That is putting it on the table. That is unsheathed, as you like to say. That's that is unbelievable.
It's been a minute since I brought that one to the table.
That stat is insane.
Probably because we've been terrible at all the sports.
5 starts in a row without walking a single batter. 4 of the 5 starts, he didn't give up a run. Every Skeens Day is a celebration in my household. It's unbelievable. And last night he had another no-hitter going into the 7th. Do you know, well, I got plenty. He's breaking records currently, like all-time Major League records. It's getting silly. Now, I probably just cursed him, but it's getting silly. I mean, some of the records I was reading today, Tom, they're like from people like Nolan Ryan, Cy Young, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. I mean, boom, boom, boom. Broke that record, broke this record, broke that. Oh, my goodness gracious. And to think there was a moment in time where people debated on MLB Network about which of the star LSU players you should draft. What's that other clown doing? The position player that they were all debating.
I don't know. I'll bet you do.
I bet he's not playing as well as Paul Skeens. I mean, goodness gracious. Like, just, you don't have to like the Pirates. Most people don't, but, or they're indifferent at the very least for sure. But, I mean, like, if you like baseball, that dude's must-see television.
We're celebrating in Queens because our 21-year-old who played 12 games in AAA walked 3 times and hit a triple last night.
Hey, well, that's a hell of a day.
It was.
That's an uptick.
Stole a base, too.
Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
It's where you raise your kids, where friends become family, where every corner has a story worth telling. It's your neighborhood. At ABC 27, we share those stories, bringing you news that connects communities, builds pride, and reminds us we're part of something bigger. We are ABC 27, in your neighborhood.
We all have a favorite room in the house. But what if a space outside of your house could be transformed to your new favorite room inside the house? We're talking sunrooms with Leon Screening and Repair.
I hear a lot of people tell us the sunroom has become their favorite room in their house. They drink their morning coffee out there, whether it be the Easy Breeze windows or actually, going all the way to, glass windows and closing it, all the way around. So you feel like you're more outside. Pretty backyard, you got your bird feeders, the birds are flying around, but you're comfortable, I can't say how many people tell me that that's where they drink their morning coffee every single morning.
Leon Screening and Repair builds custom screen rooms, sunrooms, and outdoor living spaces that turn unused patios into the best room in your house. Find out more about all our services and get a free estimate today at leonscreening.com. That's leonscreening.com.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
It's that time of year, and warmer temps mean more strain on your heating and air system. Time to call Barano Heating and Air and get a full checkup on your HVAC system to keep it healthy through the summer months. They'll even do a free duct system evaluation for you, too. Get details at baranoac.com. That's baranoac.com. Or license CAC 1816186.
Hey, it's me, your car. That crack on your windshield, yeah, it's not a good look. People are starting to stare.
Don't let your car be embarrassed. Call Seminole Auto Glass for fast, professional auto glass replacement. We'll fix chips, cracks, and your shattered pride.
Please, for both of us.
Call 850-539-4527 or visit SeminoleAutoGlass.com today. Seminole Auto Glass, saving cars
and their egos.
One windshield at a time. Better call Seminole.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee.
Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Tampa Bay Rays baseball, they have now won 16 of their last 18. They go 10 innings yesterday, but they beat the Blue Jays by a 7-6 score. Taylor Walls put the Rays ahead with an RBI single in the 10th inning. He then later scored on Jonathan Aranda's sacrifice fly as they're able to hold on for the victory. Shane McClanahan does not factor into the decision. Strikes out 7, allows 1 hit in 5 shutout innings. He has now thrown 21 and 2/3 consecutive shutout innings. Series does continue today. Griffin Jackson on the mound for the Rays. The Miami Marlins lose to the Minnesota Twins yesterday by a 3-0 score. Series does continue today. Max Meyer starting for the Marlins. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Honey, what are these mushrooms in our yard? Portobello?
Huh. Let me take a look. Oh,
Shiitake.
I don't know, but our septic system is failing, and our whole yard smells like.
Should we try to cook these up and eat them tonight?
This is bad, Sheila.
Well, we better fix it soon, or we're going to be in deep.
Sheila, look. It's Crud Septic. Our prayers are answered.
Call Crud Septic Service today. Pump outs, installs, repairs. CrudSeptic.com. That's CrudSeptic.com.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon, there is one every few weeks. That's why the 7th Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials, too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, 7th Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The 7th Hill Tap Room.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Week takes a turn for the better as Florida State ends up taking on Miami, and the PGA Championship begins, and it figures to be a good one. I did say yesterday that I would throw out a few of my plays for the week. We've had a good golf season. We haven't had the season we had 2 years ago when I hit on the outright with Steven Yeager. That'll make your year. But I do have a bet in this year's PGA Championship that I will add a vacation to the calendar if I win it. I will specifically add a very good vacation to the calendar if I win it. And I think I have a chance. I did my due diligence last night, Tom.
That's a hell of a tease.
I dove in.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to reveal that to everybody so they join in on the party.
Well, I won't say this is the bet. I'll just say these are the bets that these are some of the numbers. I've got a lot of top 20s, top 10s, top 5s. I've got 2 outrights. I've got first round leader. If you hit first round leader, no matter who you take, you're going to win a chunk of change because it's hard to predict an outright round leader. I've done it before. I've done it twice. You know who usually wins my first round leader? 2 years ago, I won it. Justin Rose, first round Masters. He was always in the lead at the Masters.
Yeah, like 7 times in his career.
Yeah, I just blindly bet it every year. But yeah, you can. I'm not picking Justin Rose this week. I will say this isn't going to be the golf segment, but I will say, Tom, I like Brooks this week. I think this course is perfect for Brooks Koepka for a lot of reasons.
This and the next major, yeah.
The caveat being, of course, what you know it to be. I'm going to need you to make some putts, man. I'm going to need you to make some putts. I was rather blown away. In fact, since Brooks Koepka is a Knoll, and we will continue down this path.
Quickly, as you're pulling those numbers up a little behind the scenes before all the people, do you prefer 2:30 or 3 o'clock for Mr. Schofel, who is on the road from the ACC kickoff?
We can do 2:30.
2:30, you got it.
I'm glad that we were able to get that out there. I looked this up yesterday. There are a lot of numbers I looked up yesterday. I'm blinded by numbers yesterday. Tom, Brooks Koepka currently leads the tour in strokes gained approach this year. He's number 1 on the tour. He just can't putt at all.
I've watched
even
many.
A little bit.
He's on a lot of featured groups, obviously, this year because he's back on the tour, and so therefore you get elevated up to that kind of a status for everything from a major to, like the Valspar. And his second shots are, it doesn't matter the distance. It could be a wedge. It could be 4-iron from 2+. I mean, he's been outstanding. And he's done the hard work where he's had a 2-way miss off the tee to allow for that approach, those second shots to erase the miss. Then he doesn't pay it off. The putter just doesn't pay it off. And then he'll miss the 4-footer after having a 15-footer. You're like, oh, buddy, that is
it's awful.
Toughie.
But I'm gonna point something out. This is more for the people in the chat. Just like make sure, Tom, you're on the screen when I do this.
All right.
I've got good news, bad news for you. This morning, very early.
Are there greens on this course?
There are greens on this course. They're very sizable greens.
Bad news?
Yeah, that's not the bad news. Here's the good news. And I have verified this. Brooks changed putters this week.
He did what? Did he go back to the blade?
No, that's the bad news.
Oh, that is a very, very good setup on your part.
He did change to a new putter this week.
Tell me it's the one that looks like a
blade.
No, like the gender symbol, because it's got the big circle loopy thing.
It is the TaylorMade Spider Tour putter.
Spider 2 white banana.
It's a mallet. It is a MOI, high MOI mallet putter. Tom, it's designed for stability, consistency, and forgiveness.
Yeah, right.
For
Exactly.
off-center strikes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It features the True Path alignment system. A white TPU pure roll insert for better forward roll and durable PVD coating.
That's right.
The Spider Tour X, which I don't know if he's using or if he's just using your standard Spider Tour series, but the Spider Tour X is currently used by Rory McIlroy. It combines a blade-like feel with mallet performance, Tom. So I thought you should know.
Did we get a new sponsor?
No,
that I'm not aware
I thought
of?
you should know that in my research, I came across the good news. I almost called you, but it was very early and you would have been mad. I almost called you to let you know, buddy, he changed out the putter this week, which he has. Unfortunately for you, he went from one mallet to another mallet.
Well, so if he hasn't been interviewed yet, he'll be interviewed about it, and he's going to talk about how it really helps with the dispersion. Stop it. It's a putt. This is not a drive with a swing speed of 115 miles an hour and a ball speed of 190. Dispersion. Enough. Hit it on the line, make the putt, win the major. But no. Keep the mallet. It's fine.
He's keeping the
Might
mallet.
as well go to the belly putter. Let's go to a belly putter.
Tom, if he's going to make putts with whatever putter, you got to...
Let's anchor it to the forearm like Bryson.
You'll look like a fool like Bryson, but yeah. Whatever he's got to do to start making putts again, because the rest of his game is in very good working order.
Go Happy Gilmore. We'll get way low.
Whatever you got to do, man. Whatever you got to do. Anyhow, I like Brooks this week. The caveat being, I mean, I do think the course sets up for him very nicely, and I'll give more reasons in the next hour. That's actually fun. I did a lot, and this is going to be a really, I think, interesting tournament and a fun one for us as viewers for a lot of reasons that I'll get into. But I do think it sets up. I mean, the course really sets up for Brooks for all the reasons that, for with his irons right now.
Well, yeah, down the stretch, you've got a reachable par 5 down the stretch, but you've got several long par 4s and a 3 that's like 220. And those are his best holes. If you look at the majors that he's won, and it's 3 PGA and 2 U.S. Opens. One of the PGA essentially was a U.S. Open because it was Bethpage, and the score looked very much like a United States Open. But the differentiators of those 4 days typically is when he's got like 220 in, and he hits a laser from 220 to 6 feet, and he makes the putt. It could be an eagle on a par 5. It could be a par 3 that he makes birdie. Scoring average on the hole was 3.6, and he just picked up a shot and a half on the field. It's that kind of stuff. So you're right. If it's just slash and burn and go deep and hit long second shots and have all those shots in your bag, this potentially could be that. It depends on how much it dries out over the 4 days. But then the U.S. Open, that's why he's always a player in the U.S. Open.
He's got a chance. By the way, I did bet, and now it's come down because the conditions are benign, and people think that the winning number is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of minus 16. But I took the under 267.5 on the total. It's now down. Vegas has altered it all the way down to 265.5 is what I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I got in under the 267.5. So
see, this is the problem. I think that could be a top 10 or top 20 for Brooks, but I know he did it at Aaron Hills, but typically he doesn't like to go low 4 days in a row. That requires its own kind of style. To go 18 under, 19 under, to go win it and have, your next guys, your next wave, 13, 12. That's not usually his jam.
Well, we'll get more into it later, but I want to go back. I did not get to a question we had in the chat last hour, and this is the time of year where people write. Well, I always answer questions if the people write in and post like that, but this is a good time of year to do that. Have you seen the TV schedule for Labor Day Sunday? Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Ole Miss, Louisville, both at 7:30, with no other games that day. What are we doing? This is Tom's biggest complaint.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate you.
This has been one for a long time.
That's right up your alley. That's your biggest complaint.
Well, if you get to week 0 to become the standard week 1, which sounds like next year it's going to happen. And Jim Phillips spoke on that today.
Yes, he did.
That means you have 2 Sundays that the NFL has no say on, and you can command the ratings instead of just the one. Now, they've had this one Sunday of Labor Day weekend forever to capitalize on, and yet they never do. This goes all the way back to when I went to one of those Sunday games in Austin, Texas. Notre Dame at Texas. That game went to overtime.
Yeah, we both thought those teams were good. They turned out not to be.
No, the game
was awesome.
In a vacuum, outstanding. You thought, wow, playoff preview, huh? Maybe there could be no, man. No, they were both awful teams, but it was
they
great
were
football.
equally sorry, so it made for a great game, yeah.
And I remember that being, I think it was on NBC, but it was like, that's a primetime game. Like, all right, good job to spread out to Sunday, and it never expanded. We expand everywhere else in sports, and yet Labor Day Sunday just isn't one of those places. Got to be better about it.
Notre Dame Wisconsin, 7:30, and on Sunday also Louisville, Ole Miss, 7:30 on ABC. Monday, obviously Labor Day, SMU at FSU, 7:30, ESPN. Big game for Florida State. By the way, that Saturday, September the 5th, you get Clemson at LSU on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
You get Alabama, East Carolina, whatever. Baylor, Auburn. That might be interesting. That's the kickoff game in Atlanta.
I feel like they should play every year.
Baylor and Auburn?
Yeah.
Like a scummy thing?
They're just the same level of fraud, you know?
Yeah. Well, Auburn's had some success. Baylor,
They had Cam. There you go. There's a success. Cam Newton. Whoops.
Oh, at Auburn?
Yeah.
Well, but they played us in the national championship without Cam Newton.
Smoke, mirrors, all kinds of stuff. Now they almost smoke and mirrored and stole their signs to a national title.
Well, also, they've had some.
The way they beat Georgia that year, the way they beat. Come on, man.
Kick six, all of it.
Good Lord.
Don't sleep on the big Boston College Cincinnati matchup, is what Jim Phillips would tell us.
Oh, it's on the CW.
Well, and Jim, I wasn't overlooking this. Don't forget the ACC Friday night contest. We've got that one too. That is Friday, September the 4th between Miami and Stanford. And you have the 3rd of September. Isn't that the rematch again? Colorado and Georgia Tech. Boy, has anybody hit harder times than Deion Sanders in Colorado? They don't even get mentioned. That dude, other than doing ads for Depends, you never even see him. Like, Colorado has completely fallen off the radar. It's amazing. Yeah, it's like somebody predicted that could happen. But, yeah, tough times. Anyhow, Georgia Tech.
Unfortunately, at the time of that prediction, we look stable as an operation.
Oh, yeah, we stink. But these two things
there's
can be true.
There's no depend that we could seal near our nether regions to keep things dry.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, I like this. It made me laugh. The ACC athletic directors calling out Notre Dame's special treatment is a fun story.
Old McMurphy got them the dish.
Brett McMurphy got in there and got him to talk. He knew that there was some disdain amongst the ACC. The guy at the top of the ACC, I got to be careful because these things get clipped.
Is a sycophant for Notre Dame?
That's right.
Wishes he was Notre Dame?
That's the better way of saying it. What I was about to say is downright crude. But,
Jim, if you could be anything in the world, what would you be?
Don't do this because I have a funny joke that goes right there, but I'm not going to do it.
I'd be Notre Dame. Well, that's an institution, but I would be it. It's walls. It's bricks.
Jim loves
trees.
Notre Dame in the same way that certain announcers used to unbuckle at the sight of Tim Tebow. So that's Jim's affinity for Notre Dame. And it is absurd and it's bothersome on a lot of levels. And I've talked about this at the ACC kickoff before. And it's funny because, when you do that, people get uncomfortable. I'm just glad because I was wondering, are we the only ones, plural, who have the power of observation regarding Notre Dame and the way they use the ACC and how many times this has happened? And are we the only ones who get angry about this and say, like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? No, the answer is a resounding no. Turns out all the ACC athletic directors are like, F Notre Dame, Jim. You and your undying, unwavering love of Notre Dame. We're at the ACC kickoff. Stop talking about Notre Dame.
Well,
they're not even a member of the damn conference in football.
I had some reasonable conversations with Father O'Malley, and he had some great things to say about the future of Notre Dame and the ACC.
How good is this lead quote from an industry source, quote unquote, Brett McMurphy? In the lead paragraph at Amelia Ion writes, Notre Dame, an industry source told On3, is the guy that walks in the house, opens the fridge, eats all the food, screws the wife, kicks the dog, doesn't pay the mortgage, and walks out without any skin in the game. That's the quote. Notre Dame's not all-in relationship with the ACC has mostly worked out, although privately there is a large contingent at ACC schools that resent Notre Dame. In December, that was magnified when the Irish became the first 10-win team to opt out of a bowl game after Notre Dame did not get their playoff bid. You do recall that we talked about Notre Dame and their choice not to participate in a bowl because they felt slighted. They felt cheated. They felt that the committee had done them a disservice. And we thought, well, buddy, where was all of this angst, consternation, anger, outrage when Florida State truly got jobbed in a way that had never been done in the history of the sport? You lost head-to-head to Miami Notre Dame. I don't know what to tell you. That was the end of it. You were done. If it came down to a direct comparison between you two, you were out. That was always going to be the case. Believe me, they wanted to get you in there. They tried everything. They were desperate to get you in there. Anyhow, they chose not to play in the bowl game. And you recall all those years ago, just a few, where we had the debate, given the amount of players that needed minor surgeries to prepare themselves for the NFL Combine, the NFL Draft and Senior Bowl, and all that stuff. We knew how many guys would opt out. We knew that they were crestfallen in a way that we could never imagine because it's never happened to a team like it happened to Florida State. And we said, probably not a good idea to play that Georgia game. I don't think that's going to go well. We got a lot of problems going into that game, guys. And the thought being at Florida State and amongst the fan base who pushed back on the idea of opting out of that game in protest, the Orange Bowl, was that you would never hear the end of it, that you would never be able to get out from under the shame of choosing to not play a football game that you were afforded the opportunity to play, especially not one that is one of the great all-time bowl games like the Orange Bowl, right? And I remember thinking, these are different times, man. No, and also it's never happened what just happened to Florida State. So maybe you can set precedent after having been screwed in a way that nobody had ever been screwed before. Maybe you could say, yeah, screw your traditions, man. Peace. We're not playing. We did play, and we know what happened. Notre Dame chose not to play. There was a thought like, well, you're going to play a very motivated BYU team who, by the way, got screwed more than you. This is 2 years in a row for BYU. So this is what the ACC ADs over at Amelia Island had to say about this. Quote, pathetic, 100% arrogance. They are crybabies. There's a very widespread perception that we are all getting used here in the ACC, said one athletic director. We're sick of it. If an ACC team did that, it would have been fined. It's a bad situation, creating bad outcomes for organizations that need one another. Added another ACC athletic director, it seems reasonable to have a consequence. If the conference membership agreed to something, then an individual institution made a decision to counter that agreement and that decision. I'm still waiting, said one ACC coach, glancing down at his watch, to see how much their fine is going to be, quote unquote. Notre Dame was not fined. Technically, there isn't a specific ACC bylaw that addresses bowl opt-outs. However, there wasn't a bylaw in the Big 12 either, and that didn't stop the Big 12 from fining Iowa State and Kansas State both $500,000 apiece for opting out of their bowl games. 2 years ago, the Sun Belt fined Marshall over $100,000 for opting out of its bowl game. What are you doing, Marshall? Why are you opting out of bowl games? You're Marshall. Get it together. All three teams had coaching changes at the time. They thought it was going to impact their roster. Miami coach Mario Cristobal did go on the record and said, I want to speak independently of any other school. As far as Miami, we have to play in any game that is afforded us to play. That's just our belief this day and age. Sometimes certain players play, others don't play. But it's my obligation to finish the season, I believe. I do not judge anyone or any other team for their choices. Well, I do. You do too, Mario. You just don't want to be on the record saying it. The ACC chose to allow Notre Dame a sweetheart deal back in 2012 to be an ACC member in all sports except for football. The Irish, in turn, agreed to play 5 ACC football opponents annually until the year 2037. They get the best of both worlds, maintaining football independence, having a safety net in the bowl system. It guarantees Notre Dame an ACC bowl destination as well. Quote, I don't think there's a better situation than the situation we have here, said Notre Dame President John Jenkins. I like that he's just like, yes, we love this. The ACC has allowed us to retain a tradition that's so central to our identity, while we're joining a conference that athletically is also elite as it is academically. So Notre Dame fits perfectly there. That is such a perfect Notre Dame quote. I was disappointed how the ACC really went on a social media campaign against us, in my opinion, attacking our football program and taking shots at us. That's what happened, said Notre Dame athletic director Pete Bavacqua back in December, if you recall.
The entitled schmuck that he is.
Notre Dame, Tom, in essence, was upset over social media posts.
Yes, permanent damage was the phrase that he used. It caused permanent damage.
And he went on every radio show in the country.
Entitled schmuck.
With great vigor. Great vigor. Anyhow, we'll see how it affects the relationship moving forward. But, yeah, ACC on Monday evening, Bavacqua said this about the ACC. We believe that our relationship within the conference is, quote, incredibly strong.
Backpedal City.
I mean, Jimmy and I have such a wonderful relationship.
Check out my moonwalk. I'm Pete Bavacqua.
We cleared the air back in December, and I think the relationship is stronger than ever before. I really do. We felt great. Jimmy and I had a very good conversation right before Christmas. We talked through a lot, and Jimmy and I talked pretty consistently. It was said in the heat of the moment. All I would say is we're in a good position now. It was a gut punch at the time. I was angry.
Our relationship died. It was buried. And on the third day, it rose again.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing. Wouldn't you know it? They rolled the rock away, and we said ACC. ACC.
Bavacqua went on to tell everybody about why and how they're God's gift to football, all football. He said that ACC football stadiums, on average, sell out just 23% of the time, compared to over 90% when Notre Dame is the visitor. Last year's Nielsen television ratings tell a different story. Just one season after its run to the 2024 national title game, Notre Dame only had 4 of the top 100 most viewed games. That's the same amount, by the way, as Iowa. There were 14 teams with more top 100 viewed games.
I'll bet we were one of them.
We consistently are. It's the other reason that I frequently bring up the fact that I don't believe Florida State will be left out in the cold, despite this terrible swoon we've seen on the football field. Any given year, like last, when we play a big-time game, we are one of the 10 to 15 highest-rated games for the season. And this is after back-to-back losing seasons, or after at least one god-awful 2-10 campaign, they still rated over the moon. Now, you can't lose in perpetuity. I would like to point that out. You are at some point going to go the way of the Dodo or Nebraska if you continue to lose at this clip, this godforsaken clip.
Yeah, and we're just the old men and the Muppets up in the rafters, getting older and older. Oh. Theater's empty. There's nobody there.
Ira Chappelle set to join us next. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
See us at Café de Martin, open Tuesday through Sunday with live music on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Check out our full menu online at cafedemartin.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for other special events.
Water is your home's worst enemy. It finds cracks, soft spots, and weaknesses. But not on our watch. At Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing, we're veteran-owned and built different, driven by detail and the pursuit of excellence. We install seamless gutters, underground drainage, and waterproofing systems that don't fail. Because when you live with discipline, water doesn't stand a chance. Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing. Visit guttersolutions.net. With us, it's personal.
Hey, it's Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. If you work hard to serve our community, whether you're a teacher, a nurse, firefighter, police officer, or first responder, or even a city or county employee, I've got some great news for you. Florida's Hometown Heroes program can help you buy a home with down payment and closing cost assistance up to $35,000, depending on where you live and work. It's a way to say thank you to the people that keep Florida running. And I'm proud to help local heroes take advantage of it every day. Don't assume you don't qualify. Let's find out together. I'll walk you through the process, show you how to combine these benefits with the right mortgage plan, and help you make that dream of homeownership a reality. Let's get started. You can reach me at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. I'm Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage, helping our hometown heroes find their way home.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
Real Talk 93.3 is proud to welcome our newest live show to the lineup. Living Tallahassee On Air, hosted by Patty Wilson and Jason Taylor, presented by Tallahassee Ford. It's every Friday at noon, and it's based on the popular Living Tallahassee Facebook group. We take your phone calls, and we discuss all things local, from what events are happening around town to helpful tips and advice on how to make the most out of living in the capital city. So tune in every Friday at 12 noon. It's Living Tallahassee On Air, hosted by Patty Wilson and Jason Taylor.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
On his way back from the ACC meetings over in Jacksonville, Amelia Island. I've got such a soft spot in my heart for Amelia Island. Grew up going there every year for about 10 years with the family for an annual vacation. I love Amelia Island. The beach there is gorgeous. Is our own Ira Chaffel. I wonder if he got to take that walk down said beach. Hello, good sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. I actually did not. For the first time that I can remember since I've been going to this event for over a decade now, it rained almost the entire time we were there. It was unusual weather. In fact, it was raining pretty hard earlier today, but so I didn't get the beach walk. But
damn it, man!
Still a good trip. Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Let's swing for the fence. Let's go big picture here. So you're driving back right now, and you are a good man to call in to do your hit with the Jeff Cameron Show. And I ask you this, in all of your conversations, whether they be with Mike Norvell, whether they be with Michael Alford, whether they be with Luke Laux, what you heard from Jim Phillips, what is your takeaway? What was the most significant piece of news that you take away from the few days that you were there in Jacksonville?
I would say probably some of the insights we got from Mike Norvell talking about the football team, some of it on the record, some of it off the record. I wrote a story yesterday about Ashton Daniels. This was the first time that we've gotten to talk to Norvell about the decision to go with Ashton Daniels as a starting quarterback. And I thought he was very, a lot of conviction. He basically said it was not a question. There was not a question at the end of spring camp of who the quarterback was going to be. He said it should have been apparent to anybody at practice. It should have been apparent to all the players that Ashton had separated himself. And he said in the last scrimmage they had, Ashton threw, 3 or 4 really beautiful balls down the field. Just couldn't have placed it any better. Made, some really good decisions. Just, basically said that he's better than they expected. And they thought he could be a good quarterback, but he was better than they expected in the spring. So that's something I didn't know before I came here. A lot of the other stuff was, maybe reiterating things we already knew. Like I think we knew the ACC was probably going to push for more teams in the playoff than less. So that wasn't a big shock, even though that was kind of one of the big stories. But I whether or not you believe Mike Norvell knows what he sees in a quarterback, that's up for everybody else to decide. But I definitely came away understanding that he is very confident in Ashton Daniels.
Oh, that was a great that was a great build-up, buddy. Yeah. So do you believe that do you believe him when he said that it was that one-sided, the battle between him and Sperry?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I really do. I think he we were hearing different things during camp, but part of that is, and I'm always reminded of this, that a lot of times there are people at practice watching a practice, like when we were able to watch practice, that you don't always know what the call is. You don't know what the coaches are looking for on certain plays. And so, I think there were times maybe Sperry had good days, but maybe the reads weren't exactly what they were supposed to be. We just don't know that. But it was pretty clear that there was plenty of separation. This was not a tie goes to the runner and Ashton Daniels is the more experienced guy. This was a case of he clearly outplayed him. Now, having said that, Norvell also said repeatedly, both on and off the record, that he thinks he's really excited about Sperry down the road, and he's also excited about Malachi Marshall. But Ashton Daniels, according to him, had a really, really good spring.
Observationally, how would you gauge Mike Norvell's spirits and overall attitude, mentality, all of it? Where do you think his headspace is at?
Yeah, I thought he was in a good space. And that's something I've been trying to figure out. I think a lot of people are trying to figure out. He's been through, after what he's been through these last 2 years, does he still have the same confidence? Does he still believe in himself? And I thought there were a couple of moments that were pretty telling. One of them was, a reporter asked him about taking back over play calling, and he kind of fired back with, "Well, I'm good at it," and kind of was not defensive, but just very, matter of fact that I believe in myself as a play caller. And he said, if I didn't believe myself as a play caller, I would get somebody else to do it. And so I thought from that standpoint, also, talking to him about some of the different things on this team, he's pretty confident about this football team. Now, again, it's fair to point out that he was excited about the team last year too. So, we'll see whether or not it means anything. But in terms of where he is, it's not a matter of, him looking like this is, we use the phrase, well, you certainly use the phrase dead man walking.
All the time, buddy. All the time.
You don't get that vibe from him. Again, now, I don't know if he's capable of having that feeling. He's just an optimistic guy. He's always going to believe in the players. He's going to believe in the guys he coaches. And that's certainly the case against this year. So, no, there's no sign that he's not confident about this group.
What were your takeaways from the athletic director? What did Michael Alford say or do, or anything that you observed that, stuck with you, if anything?
Yeah, and Alford was only there for part of the meetings. He was there for about one day. And they arrived, Monday morning. They started really meeting Monday afternoon. They met all day Tuesday, and then they met this morning. Michael Alford actually left midway through Tuesday because he had to go be part of the baseball selection committee. So he was kind of like rushing to kind of get in on all the things he had to get in on before he left. But when we talked to him, he, mostly we talked to him about the college football playoff, the idea of trying to go to 24 teams and why that's important. He really didn't get into much of, it was kind of an abbreviated version. So not a whole lot of insight from Michael Alford other than, he was the first one really to speak to us about the fact that they really the ACC wants to go to 24 teams in the playoff.
It's always fun to talk to Luke Laux because he is such a forthright, straight shooter. What were your thoughts on his thoughts regarding NIL, revenue sharing, rule enforcement? I know you wrote an article expressly noting these things, but for my audience listening now who maybe didn't see that on warchant.com, what were your thoughts on what Luke Laux had to say?
Yeah, I thought Luke was really good, and he's always very good.
Mm-hmm.
He's a sharp guy, but he, I thought that, we talked about the College Sports Commission, the CSC, which is supposed to be enforcing all of these, the House committee,
mm-hmm.
I guess the rules as far as revenue sharing, and he acknowledged the fact that there's a lot of schools spending a whole lot more money on their rosters than Florida State is, and there's players that he was not able to even really recruit effectively because they're just out of their price range. But the thing I like about Luke is he's also, he's basically taking the mindset of, okay, well, I've got to figure it out. I've got to figure out a way to get things done. And so, we've written about some of the things he did, the trip to Slovakia to try to get, the guy from Colorado and some of the things he's done. But, there's no limit to how excited he is about this basketball team. And I think one of the things that kind of came through from listening to him talk was you really see kind of the vision he has. I think Luke Laux sees this as a kind of an escalator. It's not an elevator; it's probably an escalator. Like he's taking gradual steps. This year's NIL budget is much larger than last year's NIL budget. I think he thinks that if they have success, he'll be able to go get more money for the following year's budget. And he has big goals. I mean, he wants to, he envisions Florida State basketball being on that big stage with the elite basketball programs. I really believe he thinks that's where he ultimately can get. The question is, how long does it take? But I, again, every time you walk away from talking to Luke Laux, you realize he has a vision to not just have a good team or a good season, but he's trying to build something at Florida State. And I think he sees the vision for how that's going to happen.
I like that he was honest that he doesn't like the tournament expansion, but admitted that if he were a bubble team and he got in because it has been expanded, he'd take it. He gets it, But he's at least honest in a way that a lot of coaches aren't. They'll tell you all the great things about a tournament expanding, and he's like, no, I prefer it to be hard to get into, but hey, if it benefits us, great. Any other lasting impressions before we sign off and I let you get back to driving?
Yeah, not really, man. I think it is going to be interesting to see what happens with this playoff stuff because, the SEC clearly, they don't want to go past 16. It sounds like ESPN, that was kind of a little bit of news,
mm-hmm.
admitted that the ESPN wants them to stay at 12 or go up to 16 at most. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. What I don't know is, does that open up things for other partners, for other television partners? And I'm a strong believer, and I think most people are, that, the more competition there is in the TV space for college football, the better.
Yep.
ESPN having a monopoly is probably not in anybody's best interest, certainly not FSU's best interest. So I do think, while FSU is not in the playoff radar right now, I do think that's something to really pay attention to because that's going to shape the sport, especially as we kind of go. The bowl system is pretty much going away. The college playoff games, the conference playoff games are probably going to go away. This playoff decision-making process is really going to shape the sport. So even though FSU is not in the radar right now, I do think that's something we really have to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think it's going to have a massive impact. We have what we got right now, Ira, I think we both know, is a classic showdown between Fox and ESPN.
Right.
In essence, that's what you have here. Of course, Fox wants it because they want access, and ESPN's like, no, we don't need all this. we rule the day right now. So I think that's where we're at. Always appreciate it, brother. Be well.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
Yeah, take care. That's Ira Schafel, warchant.com, of course. Also famously of Seminole Headlines. And on the wildly popular Jeff Cameron show for now, like, almost 20 years.
Makes you wonder if Sankey actually believes in 16 or if he knows he has to toe the company line quite literally for 16.
That's exactly what he's doing.
You think he wants 24 as well?
No, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you caught Greg Sankey in a moment as well, off the record, I got to say 16 because ESPN wants 16, but I'd rather have 24.
No, I don't know that he would. I don't know what his opinion is on that. I know he wants all of the teams in the SEC in.
That's correct.
So that's what I do know. And and he wants anybody else from another conference to die a slow death. And so anything that he thinks is a benefit to the SEC, that's what he's for, no matter what. But yeah, what you have here is Petiti in the Big Ten, also known as Fox, saying, yeah, let's expand this sucker. Let's get to 24. Fox is like, we really want more games, more action, more to be part of the playoff. Yeah, we want what ESPN has. ESPN's like, no, we're going to hoard this thing. We don't want you to have anything.
Right. We've already shipped off games to Turner. We don't want to sell off any more games to anybody else.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Especially not their chief rival.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
U.S. Attorney's Office. Robert Nixon was indicted on possession of a firearm and ammunition by a convicted felon on Monday. Nixon, who was arrested in February, is also facing a slew of other felony charges, including grand theft and official misconduct. He is accused of using his position to funnel over $30,000 into his business, Monterey's Cigar Social, between May 2022 and April 2023. Court documents claim Nixon also falsified the purpose of payments to a construction company, saying they were for approved CRA projects on Monroe Street, and the money allegedly went toward renovating his business. Controversy has swirled around Nixon prior to his arrest. He was terminated by the city in June 2025 after concerns were raised about him serving as city manager while being a convicted felon. Nixon could face up to 15 years in prison. A jury trial is scheduled for June. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Partly cloudy skies this afternoon with a high of 79. Northerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 62 tonight. Clear skies tomorrow, 83. Ample sunshine expected Friday with highs around 85. 89 Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 76 degrees.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring fever? Your only prescription is the Lawn Johns. Hi, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We can make your landscape more appealing by providing you with award-winning lawn care. With 4 levels of service, the Lawn Johns offers you more choices than the rest. More flowers, more mulch, or more pine straw all means that your home or office will be more beautiful than ever. So if you've got spring fever, go to thelawnjohns.com or just look for our big purple truck.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy? I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood. Oh, good days. So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played. Kind of like the bikes we built. Correct, yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played. But
And they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know, circling back, and our thanks to Ira Schafel for joining us on his way back from the ACC meetings. Circling back to Florida State's dilemma and the situation they find themselves in and what we are or are not in terms of a college football program and desirability for coaching candidates, recruits, and the like. And that conversation seems to be omnipresent because we're all wondering in certain circles, you have people believing that Florida State is a middle-of-the-pack program now because of the financial constraints. Still others who say, no, that's not true. If you're operating at peak efficiency, you're still a top 15 team, and you have the means by which to compete. Now, you're not going to win out if it's only about money when you go head-to-head for a recruit like, if Texas is involved or SMU these days. I really think, and I said this at the time that they joined the ACC, I said, look out, man. SMU has decided that they want to be back in the game of college football, and they're all in. And they've got a lot of billionaires. That is a rich, rich, rich school that has decided we want this. We're expanding our stadium, and we want to win, and we'll pay the going rate. And so they're in. It's going to take a little time because they haven't been able to flip their reputation, but they've had two very good seasons right off the bat, and they're going to keep having them because they're going to pay for that roster.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if a school like SMU or Texas Tech might be attractive in the next round because it's a big state. The SEC has that state right now. That's why they made the move originally to go
grab
get
Texas
and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
What if you grabbed SMU and Texas Tech? Because you know that now in the brave new world, Texas Tech is not going away. So now you're into Texas and you grab Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, and Georgia Tech or something along those lines.
It would be a short-sighted goal, I think, to grab Texas Tech, because if we do believe there's a future in which there are guidelines and rules, enforceable rules on salaries, if you will, for a football roster, then Texas Tech goes right back to being useless.
It could very well, but I think it's also important if you're going to expand and you really want, say, SMU and to get into that Dallas metro area. And I know that SMU's following isn't huge, but those TV sets are those TV sets. And we just saw that expansion to different time zones works in the Big Ten payout.
Oh, huge payout. That's why I'm wondering.
That SMU and Texas Tech aren't exactly neighbors. It's a giant state.
Yes,
but
it
it's
is.
at least in the grand scope of conference realignment, relatively so. You've got at least a natural partner.
Well, you look at the programs around the country that are really committed and have decided that their bread's going to be buttered with football leading the path to a brighter day for the university. So they all see the money there, and there are schools now who fancy being part of this when it breaks off into the Super 2, if you will, and they know that, all right, are we in or are we out? So if you're a school like Rutgers or Wake Forest, I don't know that you're in. You like the idea of being in. You like the money that comes from being in a Big Ten or an SEC or an ACC. Now, you prefer the Big Ten or the SEC, but my point is, like, looking at the future, if you're Wake, is that sustainable given how small a school you are and what your history and tradition is? Would you be up for competing with those, let's say, top 68, top 70, however many it turns out to be? Are you going to have the means by which to do that long term? The reason I ask that question is, A, it's fun to figure out the line of demarcation. B, I would also point out that there are teams who would never pass the traditional tests of cachet, who I think will very much be part of the future of big-time college football, SMU being one of them. Another one is going to be USF. It is going to be down in Tampa. They are going to spend. They are spending now, and they're continuing to spend. And they threw their hat in the ring with this last hire. What Golesh was able to do and then turn and hand it off to Heartland. I'm telling you we got to get back to being good again here at Florida State before we have to worry about what's happening down in Tampa. That will go for all the big three. I'm not saying this is next year. I'm not saying it's 5 years from now, but I think USF has decided, look at the campus building of the stadium. They are in. This is what they want.
Yeah, well, and the market's a good market. The state's a good state.
Massive market. It's huge.
Yeah,
and there's talent everywhere there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense on a lot of levels. I just wonder, the idea of going to a big conference or a Super 2 is that you could trim the fat and leave the Rutgers and Vandy's and Wakes and
Vandy ain't going anywhere. They're in.
Purdue's of the world. In football, maybe.
I think they're in.
But you could leave them in the SEC or the Big Ten or wherever ACC in all other sports. You're just reclassifying one sport.
Yeah.
So then you get to do an invitational of your own at that point. This is the club that we define. Now, y'all can stay there where you were in all other sports, but if we don't call you, then you can't come to the party. And that makes it easier to divvy up shares of the pie for people who are actually going to generate revenue. I think that's what reclassification to a super league would do, is it affords you to say, yeah, I get that you're in one of the big two conferences, but you're not good enough in football. You don't have the stadium. You don't have the ratings. We don't want you. And it's okay at that point. You can't get mad at
that point,
legally.
you'd be trimming the fat.
Right.
And I don't think, Tom, that anybody currently.
Rutgers will see you in the Big Ten basketball tournament. We will not see you, however, in a run for the Super 2 title.
Well, right. There are a lot of teams in those two leagues. I shouldn't say a lot. There are some teams in those two leagues, the two big leagues, the money-making leagues, the SEC and the Big Ten, that are only served to be on the wrong end of ass kickings. They're part of the scheduling of ass kickings. See Maryland, see Rutgers, and then you go look in the SEC.
Arkansas, Kentucky.
Well, I don't understand why Arkansas is not good. It doesn't make any damn sense. They have all the money in the world. They care deeply. Their fans are rabid. They've got great uniforms. Apparently, Fayetteville's a fun place to be. We were just talking about this the other day. They have state. Why do they suck all the time? Get it together, Arkansas.
Great logo.
Oh, an awesome logo. Feel like I could be describing Florida State right now, damn it. That's terrible. Final hour forthcoming. It's live. We're going to talk some of that golf tournament and some other things too. Yes, we will. Stay tuned.
Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
108th PGA Championship tees off tomorrow. The Aronimink Golf Club outside of Philadelphia. Scotty Scheffler, the plus 385 favorite. Rory McIlroy, plus 940. John Rahm, plus 1450. Danny Hamlin, the plus 370 favorite to win the All-Star race in NASCAR on Sunday at Dover, Delaware. Kyle Larson, plus 550. Chase Elliott, plus 650. Grant Holmes and three relievers combined on a one-hitter. Braves over the Cubs yesterday, 5-2. Today, the Cubs, another 36 favorite against the Braves at Truist Park. The Rays, another 29 dog. And the Blue Jays today, minus 156, 8 under the total. Score $500 in rewards with the GBank First Bet VSiN Trifecta. Details at vsin.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Every 34 seconds, someone in America dies from heart disease. In that same time, you could be managing your heart health at home with Cardia Mobile, the #1 doctor-recommended personal EKG device that detects atrial fibrillation and other arrhythmias in just 30 seconds. Unlimited readings from anywhere at a surprisingly affordable price. Order now at Cardia, KARDIA.com or Amazon. Because when it comes to your heart, seconds count.
Did you know that the survivability of a metal roof far exceeds that of a traditional shingle roof? At Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee, we have new state-of-the-art roll formers that produce the highest quality Versa panel, PBR panel, and standing seam options. And we will guarantee to match or beat any local competitor's pricing. We're a family-owned business, ready to offer you the best sales and installation service in the area. And don't forget about our veterans and first responders discounts. Call Metal Roofing Sales today, 850-536-9123, or visit us online at metalroofing.net.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor, or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Florida man, what'd you do to yourself this time?
Disney World. Me and Hank, my emotional sport alligator, we did it all.
Please tell me you weren't swimming in the Seven Seas Lagoon again.
Well, not this time. We rode the monorail to the Magic Kingdom, hit Space Mountain, crushed some turkey legs, and we washed it down with a couple of Dole Whips. And the best part, the Country Bear Jamboree.
Sounds like a great day so far. What happened?
Well, we're running late, and I'm sprinting to the front row of the show, and it starts, and the music's playing, and crowds are clapping. I got carried away. I got this bright idea. I'm going to stage dive to Hank. I jumped. Hank tried to catch.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Warchant TV, warchant.com, and the pod. So tomorrow, it all gets underway, and I, for one, am very, very excited. Just outside of Philadelphia, the PGA Championship starts at 6:45 in the morning. Good for us early risers. You get your eggs. Well, you don't like eggs, Tom, but I do.
That is correct.
I will have some eggs, throw in an avocado.
We go sausage and peppers in this house.
We're going avocado and eggs in the morning, some salt, spruce it up a little bit, maybe some hot sauce.
One of my favorite things to get is from the big store with all the everything. You know where your favorite place. They put the electronics out front.
Everybody's favorite place, yeah.
You get the seedless mini peppers. I just love those things. The seedless ones, because the bell peppers, there's so much waste. There's just so much waste when you chop those up. But you get the seedless mini peppers. Oh my God, just the colors. The rich red, the vibrant orange, slicing those bad boys up. You know, they're about to sizzle a little bit with the meats. Oh, buddy.
I get that kind of excited when I slice strawberries.
Do you slice them? Let's see.
The skinny way or the fat way?
Well,
you were going to say long way.
You're going to chop the top of it off.
Always.
To begin with. You're going to scalp it.
I've got a very good knife for that, too. Because I don't want to lose a good bit of the strawberry because I'm worried about the leafy green on top. You got to maintain the integrity of the strawberry.
Do you cut it just once or twice?
Depends on if I'm putting it in yogurt or not.
Okay.
If I'm putting it in yogurt, I might go 3 cuts.
But you're going vertical.
Dice it up. Yeah. Right. But if I'm going to just eat it, it's just one loppity do and we're done.
Okay, so I should clarify. Do they come out as discs or as kind of like triangular prisms?
If I'm being cautious and I'm making them for my children, I do the triangular things.
Oh, yeah.
If it's just for me, they're just discs.
They retains the juice with the prism.
So I said earlier in the week I'd get you all some of my picks, and so I will do that. And I'm really excited about this tournament because I like the course, and I think what's possible. Now, hopefully, this is probably going to screw me up here, Tom. I'm trying to get to this, and it's going to mess up I didn't mess up the camera. It's a miracle.
Swiss Irish. I know how to cut the peppers. I just don't use the whole bell pepper. That's the way. I got to put them in the bag. Well, you get the mini pepper. It's very precise.
You're not having to worry
on the amount you can cut. Yeah, the bell peppers are huge. I don't need that much. Yeah, right. Especially if you want to mix it. You want like an orange and a red. I mean, that's just too much pepper.
You love the peppers.
I do love the peppers.
I don't. I'm fine with some peppers. I never want to see a green pepper. It shouldn't exist.
A little bell pepper? It's good in a salad.
I can live with it.
Green pepper is actually a nice, I don't even know what the word would be, but it's a low-key solid topping on a pizza slice, a green pepper.
No, green peppers suck. There's nothing about them. There's I just hate them. I hate them in all things. And my mom would try to sneak them into things back in the day, and I'd be like, damn it, green peppers ruin everything. They take up the entirety of the flavor spectrum. You can't get anything else. It's just like damn green pepper ruining everything.
You think it's an overpowering flavor?
Overpowering. I hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah. No. And my mom would always say the thing that all moms say when they want their kids to eat something that they know they don't like. Oh, you can't even taste it. That's insulting. Yes, I can taste it. That's how I knew this pepper was hidden underneath this piece of pasta because it's the first thing that I noticed.
That's true. That would happen with me with like did you put butter on this? Like, did you lather this in butter? Like, you can't taste that. Why did I ask the question?
Why did I ask the question? Of course I could taste it.
Yeah.
Who can't taste butter? What's the point of putting it on anything if you can't taste it?
Right. What's the point of putting it on something if I don't like the taste of it? Would be my retort. Like, no, thank you. With the English muffins, like, did you put this with butter? Oh yeah, that was supposed to be your father's. I'm like, well, it can still be.
I would have said, son,
muffin,
who on earth besides you doesn't like butter? Get it together and start eating this butter and come around because butter is delicious.
So bake the eggs in the avocado, says the dad guy. You ever try that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, you have all those means by which to cook, so I didn't know.
When I get to the PGA Championship, so here we go. I am looking at the data golf. Of course I am. And it's very easy to understand that you're going to see Scotty Scheffler and Cam Young atop the data golf rankings, along with Rory McIlroy. John Rahm apparently nobody watches Liv or has even seen him play, but he has played very well on the Liv circuit against nobodies and sorry courses. But
got the better of Thomas Peters, did he?
Yeah. But the one major we've seen him this year, he was awful at the Masters. And so I think it has sullied my vision of what Jon Rahm is capable of, even though he is hitting the ball very, very well. And so if you ignore the poor performance at the Masters, you would say that he is in good form for the year. When you look at the strokes gained numbers, again, it's on the sorry-ass Live Tour, but he would then be in that top group of 5 players that you would, if you're looking at the favorites. Now, where you can make a lot of money and where I tend to try to make money is from players outside of that group. They don't have to be players that are unknown. Like you can go grab a guy that Robert McIntyre, for example, is oftentimes a guy that people really like because he's got good pedigree in the majors. He has the game that carries it. And, even though he didn't show up at the Masters all that well, he's a guy who projects on this course very well, for example. I will tell you that one of my very favorites in all of the DFLs, the daily fantasy lineups that I really like that I'm using because he projects so perfect for this course is Sam Burns. And Sam Burns acquitted himself very nicely the last time we saw him in a major, and he's straight off the tee and can really putt.
And the PGA is a place where guys who are due break through. So, and Sam is kind of due to win a major.
He is, and he can hit the ball a long way. He'll carry a lot of the problematic bunkers. You'll hear so much this week about this course's bunkers. It's littered with bunkers. However, most of them are not in play, save for the par 3s. Most of these guys, the longer hitters on tour, will just sail it over the trouble. It's not just Rory. Other guys, Cam Young certainly has that length. Scotty Scheffler has that length. They can all largely, Ludwig Aberg can hit over that. Sam Burns can hit over that. So that'll be interesting. I do think and putting, man. That's what's killed him. He's often not in contention despite leading the tournament in strokes gained in it this week. He can out-hit the trouble. He's really good with his short irons. What I think is interesting, and I looked this up, and I was kind of curious. They have so much in the way of data now. You can get blinded by it. You can forget which are the insights that you need. What are the ones that are going to tell you the story of how we arrive at a score of, 267 or 266 in total. And it's interesting. This is, of course, the front 9 is where all the scoring is. Really, once you get past 14, 15, you might be able to birdie. But for the most part, 15, 16, 17, and 18 are not really scoreable holes. So whatever your score is going to be, it's going to be through the first 14 holes for the most part. If you've got a guy that goes off the front, much better to come out that front 9 with a number that excites you or raises an eyebrow than the back 9 for those who go off the back. 16 is, again, I should say 16 is the last scoring hole. 15, 17, and 18 play very hard. So you're going to have to get your work in there. And you hold on for dear life with the 3 par 3s. That most people don't think that this is going to be an area where you can score. I would say this about the rest of this. 40 to 50% of the shots in this major will be hit from inside 150 yards, Tom. 40 to 50% of the shots that the players will hit will be inside of 150 yards this week.
That actually means fade Rory a little bit.
And these are massive greens with quadrants and tiers and spines and outcroppings. So proximity to the hole, not just reaching the green, not just greens in regulation because the greens are so massive. Proximity to the hole is going to go a long way in helping you make a run at the Rodemaker. My only concern, if you pick, say, for example, the favorite, Scotty Scheffler, is Scotty Scheffler certainly has the length. He's been dialed in with his irons lately. He's getting better and better and better. But On the season, he's 144th in proximity to the hole. That ain't getting it done. If you're asking yourself, why isn't he winning? He's got a lot of top 20s, a lot of top 10s. He does have a win this year. People forget that. But, why is it, he's got some second places. It's not a bad year. For anybody else, it's a good year. But for him, it's not the year we are used to seeing. Well, that specifically is the reason. He is not putting himself in a position to have makeable putts.
Yeah, I think one of the things to watch the first couple of days, too, is because of the temperatures. The high tomorrow is only going to be 62. So these guys are going to be wearing sleeves all day. The high on Friday, 66. So
nice
as you're trying,
weather, though.
Perfect. Oh, I'd love to be there.
Yeah.
As you're trying to make the cut, you have to be even more cognizant of your carry distances because you're going to shave a few yards to as much as maybe, 10. It's like 1% or 2, whatever it is, off of your carries for some of these longer par fours or holes where
a lot of long par fours.
You need 292 to carry the bunker, right? Well, in 66-degree temperatures, or better yet, if you're going off in the morning, like 58-degree temperatures, it's a far cry from what it's going to be on Sunday when it's going to be in the 80s. So it favors what I'm trying to say is it favors the longer hitters even more day 1 and day 2 because you're going to throw a few guys who are tweeners out of the equation. They won't be able to reach those distances in the colder weather.
Well, and I will say this, if we were looking at the statistic that I just gave you about the 40 to 50% of your shots being from 150 on in, take the longer hitters and make that number 80. These guys are going to be hitting flip wedges into greens that are massive. And for your longer players. So Cam Young, flip wedge, Rory, flip wedge, those longer hitters. Sam Burns can carry it. I mean, this is going to be interesting to see. I don't think it's a total chipping contest, but chipping and putting are huge this week. Huge. Proximity to the hole, I bring this up a lot, but if you're looking at who's gaining strokes putting again, and by the way, announcers can't wait to talk about this because he got in the mix last week for the first time in forever, and he played really well. Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler's in the top 10 in strokes gained putting this year on the tour. Remember when he was a puttin' Jesse and that's all they talked about?
Yeah, of course I do. It's all they talked about.
Well,
as we went to commercial break for 3 Ricky Fowler commercials and came back to talk more about Ricky, who hadn't won a thing. But sure.
Well, he'd won some things. He just never won
relative
a major.
to the coverage he got. My God, he's dwarfing multi-time major champions.
Let me say this. Can you imagine the storyline on a Sunday if we get to the back nine and Ricky Fowler has a chance to win?
I will be.
And you will root for it.
It depends on who else is on the board.
But you'll root for it.
But I won't root against it.
Because he had all those second place finishes. You'll be like,
and he's handled it like a champ. He's handled it like you got to give him credit for that.
Here's the thing about, if you had a wife that looked like his, whew,
most of these guys do.
Well,
Wyndham Clark's won a major and he's not allowed back at Oakmont because he can't keep his hands to himself. He has to destroy lockers and so forth. Ricky's never had a meltdown like that.
No, because he thinks about his lady. He's like, I missed that putt, but damn.
I love this country.
I'm going to see
I'm
her.
5'6" and I'm able to marry up.
So I have some top 20s out there for you. Akshay Bhatia, top 20. Brooks, top 20. Sam Burns, top 20. Ricky Fowler, top 20. I bet all of that. I also put some pizza money on Burns, Fowler, and Brooks in the top 10. I did take a few long shots of guys that are playing really, really well right now that, you just throw in there to place. You can bet, make the cut. You can do all those things. And I have several guys that I've done that with.
I see one in like that tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 if you're doing those types of drafts.
Mm-hmm.
And Wahoo FSU says, I got to put some pizza money on Aaron Rye.
He's playing well. That's fair.
He is playing well and extremely accurate off the tee. Doesn't have the distance, but this place favors driver accuracy if you're not going to be in that elite class of mover of the ball, 190 ball speed. So you're going to have to be in the middle. And Aaron Rye has been. He's one of the most accurate drivers on tour. So I like that as a flyer. Top 20 bet, you probably get some great odds. Top 10, fantastic odds.
I've got, if you want, I'll even do this for you on 2 of mine, and we're in multiple pools. We'll be in one together, I know. This one is just one of these side things. If you want a long shot to finish in the top 20, it's Smalley. That's who you want. He is playing very well right now, and I think
that's Smalley for those that are taking notes.
Yeah.
What did he say? Spalding?
No, Smalley. Smalley's playing very
nothing, and you'll like it
very well right now. Very, very well. So that's something to I've updated my entries. JJ Spawn's playing well and fits this course nicely.
A lot of the putting this week, strokes gained putting, this is if you're on the wrong side of the green complex, it's very much like double greens overseas.
Yeah.
You got spines and all kinds of weird stuff that you got to – it's not a simple two-tier like the upper tier. No, there's like a spine that rolls through most of these greens that you're going to have to judge exactly the right break point, exactly the right weight to put on the putter. It's the speed control on the putts, I think, that are going to be critical. Once you get out of birdie range, you're going to have to be dialed in on the touch. You're going to have to be very precise.
It's going to be fun to watch some of these guys because if you misread here, and it's a 50 or 60-foot putt in some cases, maybe longer in a couple of these holes, you could roll off the other side, and you could end up looking like a complete fool.
Yeah.
And or have it roll back to you.
That's the thing. We talked a lot about Brooks today. At his best, he's an excellent lag putter. I mean, one of the best on tour when he's winning those majors. He had the imagination rather than the mechanical nature of trying to avoid misses.
Well, he was also not afraid to just blow it 7 feet past.
Because I'll make it coming back.
Yeah. But now, when you start missing putts,
when you're talking about dispersion of miss, man, that is such weakness. That sounds like respond. That's what it sounds like.
I'll tell you what's fascinating is, so this is the week when you go into a major like this, and I like this just from a sports psychology standpoint. That was one of my favorite things when I was on the PGA Tour channel with Trey. We had an opportunity to talk to a lot of coaches, not just college coaches, but individual coaches, pros, and also sports psychologists. And I always enjoyed their insights. You'd hear, because they're dealing with the best players in the world. And when the best players of the world aren't playing well, they are usually just one tweak away from once again being back to that elite level that allows you to win tournaments on the PGA Tour, right? The guy who is just floundering along for 2 years will have something said to him which completes the picture. A coach will just make one comment, and it's a snapshot in their brain, and they'll go, oh, that's it. And we can relate to that because you don't have to be an elite golfer. You just have to like to play sports to understand that sometimes things are illuminated for you simply with a comment or an accident. Something happens on the range and you're like, that's it. That's the feel. That's what it is. And there's been a lot of talk about that coming into this major for certain guys, partly because they're playing so much better than they were. Ricky Fowler being one of them. He is playing really well right now. His iron play is exceptional. We talk about Brooks doing all the things right except with the putter. And I was listening to them live from where they were talking about sometimes it just takes one comment. And this story came up about how Butch Harmon and Tiger, right before the 2000 to 2001 run of dominance, most people would argue that is the greatest run of dominance of any golfer in the history of the world at any time ever. That run is unbelievable, right? What he did, not even Jack did. So all these things. And I found out that it had to do with him and Butch Harmon. There was a complete the picture moment. He realized that he figured out something Butch Harmon told him to keep the club above the plane. And he figured out how to keep the club above the plane. So he knew where all of his misses would land. He's like, if I don't quite catch it the way I want to or shape it the way I want to, this is my miss because of where my club angle is coming from.
Is it a left miss, a pull miss?
And so, yeah, they didn't say that. They didn't say that. But he knew where his misses were going to be every time. So he could select the shot based on which side of the hole he was going to miss on because it would never be the other way. He eliminated the two-way miss completely during that run. There was no two-way miss. There was no such thing. And it was with every club. So the reason he turned to Butch after this and was like, that's it. Whatever it was Butch said, he knew, I can keep the club above the plane. And then from that point forward, all he had to worry about was putting. And he became the best putter in the world. So you marry those two things. I know where my miss is going to be.
Yeah, you cut away half the course.
Yeah. These are the chances I can take because if I miss it, it's going to be here and I can land there. I'll be fine. I'm great at up and down. I got no worries. So I'll take chances. I'll take chances I never would take if I didn't know which side of the hole I was going to miss on or I was having a hard time with consistency of that. Really cool just to think about. So when you're looking at a guy like Brooks, Florida State's own, who we're talking about right now, who once putted very well and has not putted well in a long time, you just hope it's like one thing. It's something that, somebody says to him, here it is.
Is within touch. the major championship, the window's not closed by any stretch.
Oh, no, because he's physically really, really still elite. He's still a strong guy. He still hits it a long way. He still can, he's not – spin rate isn't a problem for him.
And he's not hapless. I mean, he's very good still with the wedges in the short game. He's still – I don't know if he's at his peak of when he won all those majors in short order, but it's still –
there's only one run like that. Players usually only get one run like that.
Sure, but he's not – there are different versions of players as time goes on, and they have to learn how to win different ways. He can still kind of win the way he did 8 years ago if he could putt.
Yeah, it's a big if.
But all that other ball striking stuff is the key. For him tomorrow, I'm sure he'll be a featured group. If he's not, he will be Friday. But so look for that two-way miss. That's the whole key. Is he missing left always off the tee, or is he missing both? If it's both left and right, then that's it. We'll focus on somebody else.
Just again, so some guys that we're throwing pizza money on and having some fun with. Listen, outside the big names, Burns, Fowler. I did so with Brooks. I did with Akshay. By the way, if we were just trying to pick one and dones or outrights, well, obviously that's a no-brainer. You're going to take one of Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, or Cam Young. Those maybe John Rahm, if you believe that the Masters was a one-off. I think the problem Rahm has is that the quality of competition is so bad where he is that when you get into this. This is the call. This is tough. This is where you are now. There are people in this tournament that don't exist and live that can really play.
No, correct. For me, of that top group, I think Matty Fitz has to be considered because he's doing special things this year. But Tommy Fleetwood is the guy. That's the horse I'm betting on.
I took Tommy Fleetwood in my pool as one of my picks.
So strokes gained around the green. He's number 4 on the tour.
Yeah,
number
and he
4.
can really putt.
You know who's number 1?
Strokes gained around the green?
Around the green.
Around the green?
Mm-hmm.
Fitzpatrick.
Brandt Snedeker, who just got in the field by winning last week. How about a top 20 wager? I'm not telling you to bet top 10, top 5, top 3, but how about a top 20 wager on old Brandt Snedeker? You're going to get incredible value.
Well, you go ahead and do that, Tom. I'm not betting Brandt Snedeker.
And when I retire on Monday, because I put 10 grand on Brandt to win the PGA Championship, I'm going to say thank you, Sneds. You're a nice guy.
I bet Sam Bird's first round leader. I bet Sam Burns top 10. I bet Akshay Bhatia first round leader. I bet what was another bet I had? Well, if the Burns outright pick wins, I'm in real good shape. We'll be celebrating all weekend.
What did we promise for the pizza party? Somebody brought that up to me in the last week. I know you guys mentioned you're going to have a pizza party. Was it 8-4? Was it
for football
7-5? Yeah. Just because we're talking about.
I don't think it was 8-4.
The people in the chat would know.
9 or 10 wins?
I think it was less. I think honestly,
we said we'd have a pizza party if they win 8.
It might have been 8. We would do pizza and pitchers of beer at the CP.
I'd love to do it. Didn't we have somebody
7 wins? Tony wouldn't lie.
No,
I think it might have been 7.
7 wins?
I feel like it might have been really low.
Wow.
Yeah, 7-5. Yep, there we go. I trust Eric Angel on that one because he had it for the keg stand thing from years ago. So
I got a question from Jonathan today who emailed me and said he wanted to know if we would do W's and L's on the show today. I don't know if I got it in me, Jonathan, right now. Well, what did we come up with the last time we did W's and L's?
I don't think we did one this year. Yeah. I still think and I think that speaks volumes.
Jonathan, if you're listening, and I know that you are, we'll do W's and L's this Friday.
Okay.
Get your mind right.
I know. I just activated a machine that I'm having to dust off.
Get your mind right for W's and L's this Friday, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey, listen.
Don't turn the computer on. There's too much dust in here.
I'm just telling you. It just hurts to have to do it.
Ooh, buddy. All right.
But I'll do it. I'll lock it in. We're not beholden to this, the May version of W's and L's. We'll do it. Who knows? I might have us win 11 games tomorrow. Friday. Who knows? Unlikely. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Circle.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, we conquer all peaks, we fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark.construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
There's a common feeling about big car dealerships. The pressure, the back and forth, the feeling that you're being sold to instead of listened to. All the stereotypes are negative, and that's why Tallahassee Ford decided to be different. At Tallahassee Ford, the experience starts with a conversation, not a sales pitch. We take the time to understand what you actually need, what fits your lifestyle, and what makes sense for your budget. No games, no gimmicks, just honest answers, transparent pricing, and a team that believes trust matters more than quick deals. Whether you're buying new, used, or trusting us with your vehicle service, you'll feel the difference the moment you walk in. Come visit us at Tallahassee Ford. It's not your typical dealership experience because Tallahassee deserves better. Visit Tallahassee Ford today.
What if great coffee just showed up at your door exactly when you wanted it to, so you never run out again? With a Grassroots Coffee subscription on grassrootscoffee.com, it does. Grassroots Coffee is specially sourced from around the world, locally slow roasted in small batches, and delivered right to your door on your schedule. No last-minute store runs, no stale coffee. It's your call. Order Grassroots Coffee when you run out or never run out with a Grassroots subscription. It's easy, it's flexible, it's reliable. Go to grassrootscoffee.com, click on the coffee you want, click on subscribe and save, and then pick how often you want your delivery. Buy locally roasted and locally loved Grassroots Coffee for your home from grassrootscoffee.com or contact them directly to buy wholesale for your business. Grassroots Coffee, made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
It's that time of year, and warmer temps mean more strain on your heating and air system. Time to call Barano Heating and Air and get a full checkup on your HVAC system. To keep it healthy through the summer months, they'll even do a free duct system evaluation for you, too. Get details at baranoac.com. That's baranoac.com. Board license CAC 1816186.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Every child deserves a chance to live their best life and celebrate every moment. When you support St. Jude, you help give kids with cancer around the world that chance. Together, we can save more lives. Finding cures, saving children. Visit.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Jeff Cameron Show rolling on a Ballsmic Wednesday. I gave you some stats earlier on Paul Skeens, by the way. This is pretty crazy. So, tosses 8 scoreless last night while striking out 10. Took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. This is the 3rd time in his past 4 starts in which Skeens hasn't allowed a hit until after the 5th inning, Tom. And that's doing some things. But again, that stat, this is the one that blew me away. There were several last night that came out. All the baseball geeks were like, well, we've not seen this in 100 years. We've not seen this. Listen to this stat. Skeens now, in his career, has more starts in which he has allowed 0 runs than starts in which he's allowed 1 or more. That is, think about that. That is really, that's an incredible stat. That's reserved for the best pitchers of all time for sure. You've got more career starts in which you allowed 0 runs than starts in which you've allowed 1 or more. That's he's doing heady things, man. That's it's kind of scary because he's also now more efficient with his pitches, and because of that, you're seeing him get deeper and deeper and deeper into games. I don't know how long it'll be before they let him go ahead and do something we seldom see as baseball fans anymore, which is, throw a complete game. I thought last night was a candidate. His last 2 outings, he was a candidate to finish, but they pulled him at 98 pitches. Before that, I think he had 94 in the start. Man, at some point, again, the guy's a horse. I think you can let him throw 107 pitches.
Any talk of an extension?
There has been talk of an extension. But I'll give you another stat that blows me away. That has nothing to do with Paul Skeens. And it's a stat about why you don't give people these mega deals. And I get that you want to, especially when you have something very, very unique. When you have a player that is doing things that are transcendent to the game. Like I don't think it took a lot for them to decide we should probably lock up Ohtani. We should give him like $1 billion because he is the greatest player in the sport, biggest name in the sport. He'll be worth it. We'll get it back. But most of the time, it is ill-advised to give people, after 1 or 2 great seasons, an 8 to 10-year deal. It's hard to see 4 or 5 years in the future when you're caught up in the now about how good somebody is. And so I always wrestle with this. Now, I do think Paul might be, at least he doesn't hit, but Paul Skeens may be Ohtani-like in the sense that you may have something here that is truly unique. You may have a guy that's going to be an elite pitcher for 15 years. And the reason I say that is, first of all, he doesn't walk people, okay? So he is not one of these guys that is going to be throwing stressful inning after stressful inning. He throws a ton of strikes. What I tell you the stat was, I think he's given up 1 walk in his last 5 starts. It's incredible. It's the numbers are outrageous. In fact, his whip right now leads the majors. It's 0.714. He has the lowest walks per 9 in all of baseball the last 2 years. It's 1.2. I mean, it's incredible. But he's also now learning how to get out of innings, even when he strikes out the side in like 13 pitches. And he struck out the side twice last night, or was it 3 times, whatever it was. And
I think it was 3.
Probably was. But he's been very efficient. He'll come right back and pitch to contact. He'll do the thing where he's like, okay, well, I pitched 17 pitches last inning to strike out the side. Here's a fastball, hit it. And he'll get a quick out, pop it up. Somebody will hit it on the ground, whatever it is. And the next inning, it'll be 6 pitches. And you're like, okay, we're back on track. Here we go. He's figuring that part of it out. He's also dedicated to the workouts. The whole thing is when you watch a guy like this, are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing all the things you can? And then the thing you can't teach is he's a freaking horse. I mean, most people, when you would worry about these pitch counts and injury down the line, you're right to worry about it because pitchers get hurt. It's an unnatural motion. But he's 6'6", 250. He's only going to get bigger and stronger. He's so young.
So what about that extension?
Right. But here's one that you would have thought something similar to, perhaps. And did you know that he has all of, and I'm switching gears to somebody else's team and somebody else's player and a different aspect of the game. Fernando Tatis is hitting under 250 this year with 0 home runs on the season. We're at the quarter pole, my friend. You got 0 home runs this season for Fernando Tatis. And 8 years remaining on a mega deal that he signed, which I might point to, lest we forget, Fernando Tatis got popped for steroids.
He did, yep. Mm-hmm. Then he got moved to the outfield.
Let's take a look at Fernando Tatis's number pre- and post-steroid popping. You'll see that he hit over 40 home runs the year that he ended up getting this mega deal. He's never reached 25, I don't think, since. It's almost as if steroids were a reason for hitting all of the home runs. It's really quite amazing. My man has been bad defensively. He was considered a plus player defensively originally. His future was as bright as they come, and he sucks. And they've got 8 years left on this deal. 8. There are a lot of stories like this in baseball where you get caught up in the moment. And
so you want to let fear determine your next course of action in Pittsburgh?
I don't. I want Pittsburgh to pony up the money for Skeens. They already added years to a pre-existing 6-year deal for Connor Griffin, the boy wonder that's at shortstop right now. That was fine. They just added, in essence, 3 years to a 6-year deal that he was already under. So they just threw a little bit more money at him. But he's still going to be so young at the end of that deal. You can make a decision. You don't really need to do anything else with him. I am curious to see whether or not they will, because they're winning right now. And the Pirates have ponied up some money for guys the last couple of years. Brian Reynolds is one of them. Connor Griffin, who I just mentioned. If you wanted those fans to believe in a way that they never have because of the owner, it would be to announce some mega deal with him. And it kind of sounds like he might be willing to do it, which I would be surprised by.
It sounds like you're a little cautious here. Like you might have advised perhaps the administration here to say, let's wait another year. We don't need to make a move now.
If I were advising this administration, I would say come up with new revenue streams to funnel towards NIL and football, or get off your wallets and move the money that you're keeping to football so that we can get more money in the future. This isn't going to work right now. We're going to need more money. Let's find that way. That's what I'd be advising football. And we all know that. We all know that's something they have to do. And it's something I have to believe they're trying to do. A little late.
To what extent? Yeah, is the question.
You know, obviously they don't have the annual payouts in the ACC that the SEC schools and the Big Ten schools are accustomed to getting. So they're at a disadvantage there. But you have to get very imaginative and creative in the way that you go about freeing up money to get to your football program to make do until you can get out of here. And you have no choice. They don't have a choice. They have to do that. You did not invest in this football program, not just this past year, past couple of years, the way that they did. If you didn't believe your long-term solution for money issues was, in fact, having winning football teams. I mean, they have to believe that that is the economic driving force, along with, the hospital and the other stuff that they're doing. But that has to be the case. So you don't have a choice to sit around and wait for certain restrictions to be put into place. You can't assume that thing is ever going to be signed.
Yeah, you just wonder if there would be a moment, and clearly I don't think there has been, where you say, oh, wait a minute. So these teams are just getting away, these programs are getting away with telling the world as they're trying to get Lane Kiffin to join them instead of these other suitors that we'll go $20 million over rev share, which means we're going about $25 million over what we're going to give to football out of rev share.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't care who knows it. The whole world can know it. I am so proud of who I am at LSU that I'm willing to tell you these rules mean nothing. You would hope that there's a moment in Tallahassee where the person who hears that goes, oh, well, then the gloves are off. Then here's what I want everybody to do. Here are your instructions for all and everybody that has any access to feeding us any money. The rules don't apply anymore, everybody. So this meeting never happened, but let it be clear on this day, I want every dollar you can get me, and we're going to find a way to spend it. Now, maybe they will do that next year, but I did go back and listen to the NACOS interview word for word, because we're probably going to run it as standalone in a couple of days. It's very interesting. 20 million, like literally 2-0 was the heavy implication, not ballpark lower 20s. I mean, he was speaking as though
it's not enough.
It's 20 or 21, which would, if it is true and accurate, if his NACOS intel is accurate, represent a significant decrease from year to year, because I am under the understanding that last year it was in the mid-20s.
25.
Ballpark.
24.7, whatever it was.
So I remember saying to you on Monday that if that's true and it is closer to 20, which represents a decrease, then that is a punt. That is a punt.
Oh, I believe it to be a punt too, but I don't think it was a punt in which they calculated in their minds, we're punting on this season. They're punting, but I don't think it was that kind of a punt. I think it was, we can't raise any money. Nobody is going to give us any money for this guy. Yeah.
It's a good emergency brake pull.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody is going to give him any money for that guy. They're done. I've been saying this for a year and a half. Like, you're watching this all play out.
I don't think they would have said that emotionally, though, because clearly they would have had to know that at the point of their decision last year, right?
Well, I think
when they said after NC State that they're backing him, don't you think they knew that was coming? That malaise was, or do you think they underestimated the malaise that was coming?
Perhaps the latter there.
If that's a fireable offense, if that's the case,
buddy.
If you underestimated the malaise of the fan base coming off at 2-10, and then you take them for a ride for a month of the football season,
they don't know how to message.
If you underestimated that, then that is a fireable offense.
They don't know how to message. I mean, how many times have we come on here and said, why even release that statement? Why would you even do it? There was no reason to do that.
Unless you were willing to follow through the Stanford one. Unless you know that not making a bowl was going to see a change come.
Again, I don't think they do a very good job of messaging, but I also think, again, that, look, at the end of the day, they know long-term football is the economic driver of the university. They have no choice but for football to get back on track. And they know, come hell, now they're hoping to be saved. They were hoping that somehow the College Sports Commission guidelines would be, rather an enforceable arm instead of a guideline. They were hoping that was going to happen because it would save them a lot of money.
Yeah, the first volley with Nebraska so far.
Yeah, we'll see if that holds.
About like 94 more in a row.
Well, and you also still don't have everybody signed on to the agreement.
Correct.
So it's not enforceable until that happens. So because they can't, I just would operate as if nothing's coming to save you. You're going to have to make moves that allow for more revenue streams to be pointed towards football. You got to come off of something. You got to create new ones. And they know this. They know this. But that has to happen. And I think, look, I mean, they're not going to say this, and they never would publicly. And I don't even know if you could get them in a situation where off the record, under the guise
right.
of,
as aggressive as Collins has been at times, especially with the ACC,
right,
they would not do this.
I don't think they would say, what I think they believe, which is they know they're going to have to fire the guy. And I think they're trying to get their ducks in a row in the interim. They don't want to say, "Hey, everybody, come out to the stadium this year, enjoy your beloved Noles. By the way, we're not going to be any good at all, and we're probably going to end up having to fire this guy halfway through the season." Like, you can't say that.
If that's the case, though, then they would not have underestimated the fan indifference. They would have said that's the price of doing business and deciding that we're going to make this decision a year from now and not today.
Yeah, it's not indifference. It's anger right now. What would be really scary is if it becomes indifference.
I think there's a lot more indifference. And we are in it every day, but there are a lot of people who have just exited this conversation for now and said, wake me up when this is over.
Right, but that's not indifference either. That's a choice based out of anger. That is, I'm not going to get angry every day. We have to because we have to talk about something every day, but they don't have to. I'm not going to be angry on my way to work every day talking about this nonsense. But they made the decision, hey, you sorry sons of bitches have really mishandled my football program, and I'm angry about it. And you know what? I'm tuning you out until further notice.
Right. I think most people in that scenario will be back, but you will lose people to the indifferent habits that they created, which is like, once I decided that Florida State football wasn't something I needed to obsess over, I didn't realize the possibilities of fishing or whatever it is. Or I didn't realize I loved Major League Baseball so much.
But but here's the deal. They get replaced and people come back. We know this because we watched it play out during the so-called lost decade when Bowden was losing games and we were wholly average at best. I mean, what we wouldn't give for 7-6 seemingly these days. But at the time, it was ghastly to watch us get beat, whatever that was, 30-0 by Wake, and have these moments where you're humiliated and embarrassed. But in the stadium emptied out. You remember famously on Mickey Andrews' day, you could run stadium steps. There was nobody there.
I was in the building.
It was embarrassing. And that speaks volumes, and that's when change happens. And it's also,
they were so desperate to sell season tickets to students in those days. Like, 'cause we had the student tickets, but you could get the great seats. I mean, they were visitor sideline, 50-yard line. It was 120, 130 for the season.
Yeah. So at the end of the day,
it's crazy.
What I would tell you is that, Tom, I think people will come back the second they make an announcement about the change. They will. The renewed hope and belief
Many will
fuel the day.
Many will.
But we wondered back, and the reason we know it is they did. They already did it. They came back. They came back after Willie. They came back after Bobby's failures at the end of his career. They came back.
Right. To what extent does the crop come back, though? And, if you're talking about, do they now come to one game a year instead of season tickets? That's part of being pushed down deeper and deeper and deeper over 15 years to where you've got a couple beautiful moments in the last 15 years, but the rolling average has not been good at all. You want to shrink it down to 10? It's not good. And at some point you're going to beat it out of people because they perceive that you're not going to take it seriously. That's the other hard part.
What I hope, and I know I blew through a break and we're just going to end the show earlier. We'll be able
We'll
to
have to.
Yeah.
Somebody said in the chat very earlier, I'll finish with this. They said, well, if the administration isn't going to go all in on the season, then why should I? Ryan said that in the chat a couple hours ago. Yeah, exactly. I
think that is a shared sentiment, but Ryan will be back. So
he's already here today.
No, but I'm saying that I'm not talking about that. I'm saying he'll be back. He'll go to games when they show they care. And how do they show that? Well, they tell you the product's not good enough and they fire the guy. Or he wins. I mean, I guess
finally.
Yeah, I mean, or he wins. I don't suppose. We have time to do probables?
90 seconds.
All right, fire away probables. Let's go. Cue it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
There it is. Tom, count me down when we get to 10. I may skip some games. Rockies, Pirates, Jose Quintana, man, that creep can roll. Mitch Keller, Nationals, Reds, Jake Irvin, Nick Lodolo, Phillies, Red Sox, Andrew Painter, Sonny Gray, Rays, Blue Jays, the Rays can't lose, Griffin Jacks, Dylan Cease, Tigers, Mets, Framber Valdez, Christian Scott, Cubs, Braves, Shota Imanaga, J.R. Ritchie, Marlins, Twins, Max Myers, Simeon Woods, Richardson,
the Nobel laureate.
Michael King goes for the Padres. The Brewers will throw Jacob Missorowski. He throws strikes and hard. Royals, White Sox, Seth Lugo, Noah Schultz. That's the second place Chicago White Sox. What? D-backs, Rangers, Ryan Nelson, Kumar Rocker, Mariners, Astros, Bryce Miller, Lance McCullers, Cardinals, A's, Matthew Liberatore, JT Gann, Giants, Dodgers, Robbie Ray.
Hey.
Shohei Ohtani. Good matchup. Yankees, Orioles, Max Fried, Kyle Brandish, Angels, Guardians, Reed Detmers, Parker Messick, Florida State's own. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Boom! All right, I'm saying goodbye. Be well, everybody.
Like an auctioneer.
That was fun, rapid fire. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tomorrow, Florida State baseball and PGA Championship. How about that? Be good. Peace.